Just kidding, Duke. Love Duke. All right. So the first thing I want you to do before I start introductions, we're going to use a little tool that I thoroughly enjoy called Nearpod. I don't know if you all have seen Nearpod before, but I need you all to go to Nearpod, as in I'm nearsighted, pod.com. And you're going to enter the code. I see that 2 of you are in. That's awesome. And you're going to enter the code PITZJ. And if you wouldn't mind, use your real name. That would be great. Now, I love Nearpod. Nearpod is one of those tools. Hey, Chad. Nearpod is one of those tools that basically is a presentation tool that doesn't make me change anything that I've done before. So if I have a PowerPoint presentation that I've been using since 1997, first of all, shame on me. But secondly, I can upload that PowerPoint since 1997 on the Nearpod and make it an interactive presentation, which is fantastic. So that's what I like about Nearpod. All right. If you're not in, that's okay, because you can still get in, because the code will still be right up there in the corner. What I also like about Nearpod, teachers, you can see exactly who is inside your classroom at any given time. You see the little green people right there. It pulls up names. I see Jane Bishop's in there. I see Duke is in there. And what's really fantastic, when your students try to escape the presentation, this turns red and the number changes down, and you can figure out exactly who's left your presentation. All right, so you all have chosen, for some reason, and I thank you, to come to learn about designing courses in Vision. Bravo, thank you. It's going to be a 4-hour just ride of fun, I promise. Maybe. That's me. If you need to contact me and notice that your screen changed when I press that button, Nearpod is fantastic because it gives the illusion to your students that you have taken over their device. You haven't, because that's illegal, but it is kind of neat. And it does work on phones, so that's pretty neat too. That's my contact information. Feel free to email me. I am a 12-month employee. I do follow Twitter regularly. And if you call me, I promise to get back to you as soon as possible. I'm more of an email, Twitter kind of guy, but I will get back to you with phone as well. I work in the Office of Educational Technology, and as I said before, I'm a staff trainer. I run Vision on the instructional side. Of course, there's a DDI side. I wouldn't sit there and pretend that I run it all by myself. There is a DDI side, so Kevin Brooks helps me out with that. I also work with BYOT, and I'm fortunate enough to work with Mickey on computer science stuff as well. So, now, here's our itinerary. And again, I love the fact that it just changes on the screen. I can go front, back, all that fun stuff. It's great. We're going to talk about the past, present, and future of Vision, as I said before. Hey, Dan.
Howdy.
We're going to talk about blended learning platforms because it's important for us to acknowledge that we have Google Classroom. It's important to acknowledge that we have OneNote, that we have Office 365. It's important to take note that we have Phoenix. We need to acknowledge all these things. And while you all are probably sitting there going, oh my gosh, we have so many things, you're right. But they're all different tools, and there is some interconnectability with them as well, okay? We're also going to examine features of Vision. That's going to be the bulk of today, to show you how to design courses for professional learning experiences and for personalized learning experiences. If we have time, we didn't get to BYOT implications, but also one-to-one, because some of you all, your students are going to have Chromebooks next year. So we need to look at the implications behind that. And then, of course, we're going to have time to build courses. So you will sit there and work in your sandbox if you choose. If you need me to build a sandbox, if you need me to delete courses, modify your courses with you, that's what we're going to spend some time doing, okay? All right. First thing, I love this. I'm going to go ahead and hide your names because people don't like that when they see what Their answer is up on the screen. First things first, my favorite question. Let's take a poll here. Have you heard the rumor that vision is going away? I hear it at least once a week. I like that only 10% say yes. My experience is a lot more. See, it just grew. Now, of course, I like Nearpod because you can take polls like this. It's very handy, and you can collect that data, by the way. You get a nice little PDF chart. I don't work for Nearpod, but I just thought I would throw a free tool in there for you. It is a pretty cool little tool. Oh, look at that. 50% of us said yes. Okay, despite the rumors, vision is not going away. If it is, someone did it without telling me. Okay? And I'd like to think I'd be one of the first to know. So if you ever hear someone say vision is going away, feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to give you the proper answer. 10 times out of 10, though, I can assure you the answer is no. Okay? It's not going away. All right? If anything, we're improving vision. All right. So real quick, I want to know, and this data is important to me, how are you currently using vision? What do you use vision for? Either you are a teacher using vision, or you are someone who gets to use the amazing CPR course. I built it so I can make fun of it. It's terrible. I'm redoing it, I promise. Prepackaged LMS is my subject area. I like that answer. Amazing CPR course. That was Mickey. Just kidding.
I have the video.
One thing you have to be careful of Nearpod is, of course, while people are answering questions, if you press one of the buttons, they no longer have access to answering, so you have to be careful of that. Repository. Ooh, I like that. Dropbox for assignments. Nice. Not currently using Vision. Considering using it as an alternative to Google Classroom. I like this. Cool. All right. We're going to move on real quick. All right. The past, present, and future of Vision. I want you to consider some dates here. Vision came out in LCPS in 2007. And I remember that because Dr. Barb Gruber came to me. And I was working at Loudoun County High School as an English teacher. And she said, Nick Rosita, you use Blackboard quite a bit. Because we used to have Blackboard, in case you didn't know, in Loudoun County Public Schools. And Barb Gruber came to me and said, Nick Rosita, I see that you use Blackboard. I'm going to take away your Blackboard courses, and I'm going to give you something called Moodle. And I looked at Dr. Gruber and I said, Barb, you are amazing. What the hell is Moodle? And she goes, it's a really cool LMS. It's just like Blackboard. And I was like, all right, sure. First year I used it, not gonna lie, I hated it. I was like, just give me Blackboard back. It's a lot easier for me to manage. I don't understand anything on this Moodle noodle thing that you just gave me. And by the way, she called it Vision. Barb came up with the name, okay? So consider that. Vision came out in 2007. I want you to consider other dates up here real quick. Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides came out in its infancy in 2006. So think about that. I remember when I was sitting in Computer Lab 130 at Loudoun County High School and I saw Google Docs for the first time. used between two students under personal email addresses. That would pretty much make most of DDI right now cringe, me saying that. That's what was going on. I watched that. I was like, that is so cool. I wish one day we would have that. Google Drive, consider this, launched in 2012. Google Forms, 2012. Google Classroom, we've only had it for 3 years. Almost 4. And then finally, Phoenix was released 2014-15 school year. So think about how far we have come. And note that Vision's been around longer than all of, no, I'm just kidding. Been in the division a little bit longer. BYOT2, just want to throw that in there as well. March 2015, the first wave of BYOT started happening here in Loudoun County Public Schools. So, a lot of us are like, why do we still have Vision if we have Google Classroom, we have Phoenix? Well, Vision is what we call a learning management system, okay? And a learning management system is something that gives us the ability to do interactive activities with our students, quizzes, discussion board forums. Some of you are going, Google Classroom allows me to have discussion board forums with my students. They can add comments, they can turn in assignments through their Google Drive and all that other fun stuff. You are absolutely correct. But Google Classroom is just, as we're going to discuss in a little bit, Google Classroom is designed to distribute and collect assignments. You can grade stuff, you can share links, you can share announcements. It's a fantastic tool. If I was a real teacher like most of you all, I would be using Google Classroom in my classroom. I think it's fantastic. I would also be using Vision because Vision will enable me to create personalized learning activities within my classroom. It will enable me to deliver content to students, individual students. I can hide modules. I can give certain students the ability to see modules. If they move to a different group, because I don't know if we have any secondary teachers in here besides Duke, but I have to say, our elementary school teachers, they're geniuses for decades because they've been doing a little thing called stations. And what does personalized learning force us to start doing in middle school and high school? Stations. And middle school and high school teachers are like, wow, what a great idea. That's really cool. Elementary are like, yeah, we've been doing that. We've got a planning block too, man, I'll tell you what. Anyway, just kidding. My wife taught kindergarten, I taught high school. I would come home, I'd be like, man, I didn't get any of my planning block today. She'd be like, all right, let's have a conversation about that 88-minute planning block. No, that's okay. So, the future of Vision. When Vision came out, we used it as a file repository in 2007. Why? Because that's the only thing we had. We didn't have Google Drive. We didn't have OneDrive. We had a small Dropbox that only gave us like, what, a megabyte worth of storage space for free? And to get 3 megabytes, you had to pay like $1 bajillion, right? So we didn't have these online clouds the way that we did with Vision. So it was very easy for us. You sat there and you emailed Mike Spidell and you said, create a course for me. He put it inside one of the subcategories on Vision, and then you sat there with your students, you enrolled them, you loved it. You turned on the TV and you spent an hour enrolling your students in the Vision. Or you created an enrollment key, and then you told them to find your course in Vision. After 30, 40 minutes in your class of them trying to find your course, you got all your students enrolled. And then you had that one student, Chad. It was absent from class on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And he would come in on Friday and go, did you do anything when I was gone? No, Chad, we did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But Vision was great because you could put your PowerPoint presentation up there. You could put your Word docs for all of your assignments up on Vision, and you could go to Chad. Chad, did you check Vision? What's Vision? And then you would show Chad, oh yeah. And then he would check Vision. And you were done. I'm going to challenge you all to change your ideas about what Vision can be used for. And yes, even if you're using the quiz feature, I want you to change your ideas on how vision can be used. Because right now, the CPR course, and I hope Sheila's not watching this, I'm just kidding, she probably won't. But the CPR course is a debacle because it follows our old line of thinking. You get into the CPR course, you open up a PowerPoint presentation. Guess what? You get credit for opening that PowerPoint presentation. The completion tracking says, this person opened the PowerPoint. Is there any guarantee that anyone read that PowerPoint? But you get the check, and the restriction says you can move on to the next activity, which is watching a video. Is there any guarantee that you watched that video? Absolutely not. But the completion tracking says, check, you watched the video. Then you take the quiz. Uh-oh, now we're in trouble, because you actually have to get all the answers correct in order to move on to the next thing. Is that really learning? Is that how we want to project to our students the content that we want them to receive? I would challenge you to say, no, it's not. And I was one of those teachers that was proud, my etymology class, during final exam week, when we still had final exams, secondary teachers, you know what I'm talking about. I loved it because I put my final exam for etymology up on Vision. And I begged Mike over email to extend the timeout time on Vision to 90 minutes because it used to be 30. I said, please make it 90 just for my exam, please. And he just kept it at 90 because he forgot about it. We kept it at 90, and my students were able to complete their exam, and they got immediate feedback. And I was like, yeah! And I put all my grades in Clarity. Do y'all remember Clarity? Yeah. Put all my grades in Clarity, and I felt like a super teacher because I had all that stuff done. And while all the other teachers were grading their final exams, I was going, it's time to go to Roy Rogers because that's right around the corner from town. All right, so we are going to take a look at our blended learning platforms. Vision. So there's no confusion because in Loudoun County Public Schools, we like to rename things. It's just fun. Vision is powered by Moodle. Moodle is a free online learning management system. So when you start looking for stuff on Vision, you'll find nothing. If you start looking for stuff on Moodle, you'll find a lot. That is what our LMS is called. Google Classroom. We love Google Classroom. I love Google Classroom. I had a meeting with Google last week at ISTE. They're phenomenal people. Google Classroom is, let's get it straight, it is a tool for distributing and collecting work. Yes, you can share links, you can post announcements, but it is a tool for distributing and collecting work. Alice Keeler will tell you the same thing. I met her last week at ISTE too. Got a picture with her. Phoenix is powered by Synergy, which is also a learning management system. You can create a class page on your Phoenix website or for your classes in Phoenix. Okay? You can post stuff on that class site. Many schools do that. And why wouldn't you? You can sit there and post grades within Phoenix. Parents can see that through Parent View. Students can see it through Student View. You go in through Teacher View. No confusion there. And it's great. And then you put announcements right there inside your class page. You can email parents right through Phoenix. So then again, the question is, why do we have all these tools? Here's the reality. There is no one tool right now that will do everything that we want it to do. There's not. That is a huge frustration. It's huge. I'm going to make the argument for you that we should be using these tools when it's the best tool for the job. And I know that we've struggled with Google versus Office 365 versus whatever. I would say that those arguments, that battle is not. For example, I use Google on a regular basis. I was in my Google Drive. Mickey and I worked out of Google Team Drives today. We were using a Google Slide. I love me some Google. It's fantastic. Ever since I saw my son type up his essay on a little 7-inch tablet and then hit submit, and it went to a Google Classroom, and I was like, that is fantastic. That is exactly what I like to see. That is good stuff. I love Google. But tell me, what in Google's battle chest can replace OneNote? I know we've had issues with OneNote, but I love me some OneNote. When I was at Rockridge, I love getting up there. And some of you elementary school teachers are going to freak out when I say this. I pretty much had all the Rockridge folks. Surface, come on. Somebody may say Microsoft. Oh, come on. There we go. I had my teachers abandoning ActiveInspire, if you can imagine. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. I understand. But check it out. If I created a OneNote and I shared it with all my students, and I was a mean English teacher, like I was, because I taught English 11, I would sit there and I would write up on the board, and I'd say, let's diagram this. All right, what's the subject, Nick? What's the predicate? All right, what's cool? And then they would struggle for a couple minutes, and I would say, it is our predicate adjective. Now, how do we diagram this bad boy? We go like this, and then we have our slanted line. So guess what? With my OneNote that I've shared out with all my students, guess what? They now have access to these notes. They just go to their OneNote, it's right there. What does Google have that does that? They don't. But what does Microsoft have that compares with Google Classroom? See what I mean? We can't sit there and just say, I only use Google. Why? Why are you limiting you and your students by just using one thing? All right? So that's going to be my argument today. All right. Now, this is something that's not showing up very well, but I did want to show you that the Office of Educational Technology will be distributing this out on a wide basis, and you might be able to look at this a little bit easier on your screen. Taking a look at our 3 blended learning platforms, okay? We're all able to post announcements, create assignments, collect student work, post documents, share links. These are the most important things that teachers need within their classroom. Arguably, the next set, sharing a calendar. I'm going to make an argument that you create a Google Classroom and share that calendar on all 3 platforms. Because why would you want to triplicate the work? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about a little bit later. Manage content for multiple classes. That's great. I love it when I can create various assignments and put it in 3-4 of my classes in Phoenix. So I don't have to sit there and go, Chapter 1 vocab quiz in block 1. Go to block 2, do it again. Block 3, do it again. I can even set that across all 4 quarters because I know I'm going to have a Chapter 1 vocab quiz in all 4 quarters. And I can set that down right away. That saves me time, especially on my Sundays after I wake up, eat pancakes with the family, and then sit in front of my TV for 10 hours with my laptop right there getting my lesson plans done. You know what I'm talking about. Create your own classes and groups, allow parent access. That's key. All of our platforms allow that because we love our parents seeing exactly what it is that's going on in class. Create class discussions. That's also key as well. Where we start differentiating, integrating third-party tools, creating assessments, delivering assessments, providing feedback, track assignment and activity completion. Okay? This is where we start getting into the nitty-gritty details where some of our LMSs provide us a little bit more access than others. Okay? So we're going to be taking a look at those. You will have access to this chart when we log into the vision course that I've created for you in the next few minutes. So you'll have access to this chart and you can hold on to it. Okay? All right. And just because I love Nearpod, these 3D figures, I don't know, don't ask. You can just manipulate the little Tyrannosaurus Rex. Jurassic Park 2. I'm not a movie critic, but all right. Okie dokie. Now, before we get onto the platform, I believe firmly in the rule of 2 feet. If you need to get up and walk out, do so. I have planned breaks for us, 10-minute breaks here and there, so that we make sure that we get up and walk around so we're not stuck in our chair. I mean, as comfortable as these things are. But again, if something happens, like you need to go take care of Phoenix, or vision goes down, I hope you understand, I'll have to go to the next room. But seriously, if you need to go, take a phone call, whatever, please do that. We're all adults, so just do what you have to do, all right? Okay, also, asking questions. Here's what I would like for you all to do. If you like to work solo, awesome. I was that guy. But I encourage you to sit next to someone so that you can ask them questions when you don't want to interrupt the flow of what's going on in this session. So please feel free to sit next to an elbow partner, and you can ask them questions. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm just going to keep on going on. But if you have a question, just raise your hand. I will stop whatever it is that I'm saying, and I will answer whatever it is that you have to ask me. I promise. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'll be the first to ask.
You just were. All right, so, okay. Let's get on to Vision, please. And of course, our URL is vision.lcps.org. And we're going to go through a few things. We're going to go from beginner to head exploding, too much information. All right, very first thing, we log in. We see home, LCPS Go, we see course categories, we'll get to that mess in a second, and we see My Courses, the second biggest mess on the front page. Go ahead and click on the drop down for My Courses. Oh man, look at all those courses. Some of which I've not seen in 9 years. How old is Vision again? So, one of my jobs when I get back from Hilton Head, and I discussed it with Joe Schwartz, who's our course designer for Virtual Loudon, I'm going to be cleaning up Vision quite a bit, okay? It's not been cleaned up in 10 years. Now is the time. We have people who haven't logged into Vision, believe it or not, in over 6-7 years. There are courses that belong to people who haven't worked in the county for 6-7 years. Some of these course categories need to be cleaned up. We need to find out who the proper managers are so that they have the ability to modify courses on their own, and then I will be working with them one-on-one to make sure that everything works kosher inside their office or department, okay? But this is a disaster, and this is one of the things that I'm working to eliminate. The first thing is, I'm working on streamlining professional development across the division. My first mission is to take that bloodborne pathogens video that we all enjoy watching at the beginning of the year and put that on as a course. No enrollment key. You watch the video, and you will have to watch it from start to finish, and I'm going to show you how I can see that you did. In order to get the certificate, in order for that to go to risk management, and then to check you off. Now, I expect every single principal in Loudoun County Public Schools to bow down and thank me for that. Because I know they do not appreciate having to walk around with that checklist, making sure they collect all those signatures. I'm just kidding about that. No, I'm not. All right, so that's one of the first things we're going to do. We're going to streamline professional development with some things like that. Bloodborne pathogens. CPR course is going to be revamped. That is what I'm pushing. Because some of our professional development can be done by you when you want to do it. And that's it. You don't need to worry about giving the certificate to someone else because they'll already have it if they're the instructor. They don't need to print it out. Okay? So that is the first thing that we're working on immediately when I get back. Next, click on course categories if you don't mind. We're definitely going to work on this. I talked to Joe. When you according these out, disaster. Some courses are just in random places, and so I'm going to fix that. Next thing, This is my favorite. This doesn't affect you at all, but I love it when someone presses add a new course. I love that button. I love it when students press it. There is a policy in LCPS that says that no student will be an instructor of a vision course, okay? Now, I will be looking at that because some secondary level clubs like to have vision courses and give students editing rights to those. I'm okay with that. I think that's great. They can't break anything. But we need to examine that. But that button is going to change because it's not a fun button. Yes?
I currently have the button of request a course rather than add.
I'm sorry?
I have request, not add.
Yes, request, yeah, I'm sorry. Because I have admin
different,
access,
yeah.
yeah, so mine looks a little different. Sorry, so request a course. But we're going to fix all this stuff right here. Oh, I just shudder when I look at it. It's just, how do you find anything in there? It's gross. All right. Let us go back up here to the top though. And in a few minutes, we're going to search for the course that I've set up for you all that we're going to take a look at. And then we're going to take a look at a few features. I've also set up a sandbox course for you if you requested it. If you currently don't have a course where you are an instructor, at the first break, I'm going to need to create that for you, okay? Because we need to be able to make sure that you have a course that you can play in, all right? Why do we call it a sandbox? We call it a sandbox because it's just a playful area. We actually have a sandbox for Vision, so before we do any updates, we test it in the sandbox to make sure it won't break the production site. About 4 times out of 10, we're okay. No, I'm just kidding. Oh. Just kidding. All right, up here, over by your picture, and over by your name, go to click on the drop-down menu that shows up, and you should see dashboard, profile, grades, messages, preferences. Now, you won't see switch role 2 unless you're in a course where you are an instructor, okay? Now that's a really important thing because you can see what a student sees in your course, which is fantastic. That's great to be able to preview that. I always enjoyed that as a teacher, making sure that my students couldn't see hidden sections that I didn't want them to see before we got to a certain point in the course. So that's important, okay? Let's click on your dashboard. Not much to it, okay? Right now your dashboard is pretty bare. It does pull up all of the courses that you have. So when we were looking at my courses over here in the upper right-hand corner, and it was a disaster and you couldn't get to the ones that you actually wanted to get to, you can now go to your dashboard and you can take a look at all the courses that you are currently enrolled in. If you're collecting Vision courses like me, you have 4 or 5 pages of Vision courses. Now, you're going to ask, because I'm reading like 75% of your minds right now, how do I unenroll from 78% of these courses? We're going to get to that, okay? Because you can unenroll yourself from those courses. The other question that's coming to mind right now, if I unenroll myself from a course that I am an instructor in, does that mean that the course goes away? Because I don't want to see it anymore. The answer is no. You just won't be able to see it. But if you want courses deleted, email me and I can delete them. Okay? If you are a manager of a category, and I know some of you in this room are, you have the ability to delete those courses. Okay? I can work with you a little bit further if you want to discuss that. Specialists, supervisors, directors, I'm going to be working with you all anyway to make sure that you have an understanding of that. So that's your dashboard, nothing special. Let's go back up here and let's go to your profile. Here's your profile. Now, for some of you, you get a little bit frustrated because your user role might not be correct, okay? Just send me an email or put in an incident. There are certain fields right now that are not available to you. I'm hoping to make them available to you. In the event that students get email addresses, that would be really cool. If that happens, then a lot more fields are going to open up from Active Directory inside our Vision page. And I'm working with Kevin on that. So, here's what's really great too. We can see exactly when students log into sites, by the way. If you need that information, that can be pulled up. For those of you who are teachers and need the access to that information, let me know. I can also show you how you can do that within your courses. Why is this important? Right now you're kind of judging me a little bit. Virtual Loudon, for instance. Does anyone know how many students are currently enrolled in Virtual Loudon right now, summer term? 1,300. It's pretty impressive.
Where is that? I don't see that on my homepage.
So keep scrolling down. Yeah, you don't have it. Go just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Cool. All right, we'll work on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think I do.
yeah. It might just be me because I'm administrator. Sorry, different screen and all that stuff. Sorry about that. But it's important for us to be able to see when our students log in, see if they have access, make sure that there aren't any issues going on with their computers, okay? So it's important for us to do that. What's also really neat too, we have statistics on which devices are actually logging into the platform. Anyone want to take a guess which device logs into the platform more than any? That's second. I was actually surprised.
Tablet?
An iPad. iPads, statistically, every single day, 65% of our users, daily users, use an iPad to log into Vision. 28% to 30% use their phone. And then the rest is a PC. Go figure. I use a PC every day to log in, so I'm like the 1%. Anyway, wow, that's kind of weird. Let's click back up here again. Let's go to grades. This is important, especially for those of you who use Vision as a grading system for some of your users. The gradebook feature, if your students are ever confused about where they can find their grades, if they click on grades, the courses that they're currently enrolled in, and you can see I'm doing a good job on the Phoenix Gradebook training. You didn't see that training? I got a lot of courses I gotta get rid of. But you can see all the courses that are here and the gradebook. So if I click on the Phoenix Gradebook training, I'm gonna get my gradebook. So what we wanna do is we wanna be able to show our students, go to grades, click on a course that you're enrolled in, and then go through and finish.
I thought that was a mandatory course 4 years ago.
It was a mandatory. That's the old one. All right, so let's get out of that quickly. Let's go to messages. Oh, you're gonna get an error. Messages is currently turned off. It's been turned off since 2010. And here's why. Messages is not something that we can actually monitor. Students in the old days used to be able to message each other on Vision. We can't allow that if it's not monitored. We learned that very quickly and we turned it off, okay? So messages is disabled. If students were to get email addresses though, guess what? I could monitor what it is that they do. And we might turn it back on. Now, what's really cool, Vision has a naughty mouth filter, which is fantastic. It blacks out bad words. Words that it thinks are bad too, which is kind of interesting. So, pretty fantastic. So there is a filter on there. But messages right now is disabled. Someday we hope that it goes on. Yeah?
Because you brought it up, when might we plan to have email addresses for students?
I don't know.
Is that anywhere in the near future?
I hope so. I don't have that information. I wish. I think it would be great. If we do, I would work with Kevin right away to make sure that those get uploaded into Vision. Because I think that it would be awesome for us to have messaging up and running. And with some of the email features that we have within our courses that you're going to see, it would be awesome. We can email our students directly from our Vision courses. And you can communicate with your students too on Google Classroom. That'd be pretty fantastic. All right, let's go back up here real quick. Last thing I want to discuss with you is preferences. Now, preferences, this is important. In particular, your preferred language. There's nothing I like better than when someone tells me that enrolled is misspelled on Vision. As it so often is sometimes, right? You sit there and you're like, why does enroll only have one L? Like, what's going on? It's because of this. Let's click on preferred language. You have two options. You have British English. That was a terrible accent, sorry. My dad was born in Britain, does that count? And then you have American English. You know it's American because it says US right there, okay? So make sure that your preferred language is the American one. The other one will give you the misspelling of enroll and a couple other words, and it'll drive you insane. And then I'll get an email saying, why is this misspelled? It's not, I swear. So make sure that your preferred language is up there. Now, what's really cool is I can upload 300 languages onto Vision. And it's something I'm planning on doing. Because some of our English language learners would really benefit by logging into Vision and seeing the course categories, home, LCPS Go, dashboard preferences in their home language. Wouldn't that be fantastic? The drawback is, though, of course, content we load up there will not be in their language. That's a drawback. But at least all the other things would be in their language. So I think that's really cool, and that is something that I'm working towards doing. Because I just think that's awesome. And they could choose their preferred language, okay? When that comes out, I will definitely send out an announcement, but I just want to let you know that that is coming. All right. Let's go ahead and click on home for me real quick. And I just want to let you know of a few things here on the front page. First, whenever there are announcements, I post those up there. So for instance, we all know that there's going to be system maintenance on the 24th. So Vision may not be accessible during that time, okay? 6 to 10. Virtual Lab gets its own tag. I figure they have the most students, they win. They get a nice little button. You have your dashboard on there, okay? That's right now, that's what we have. And then finally, we have our FAQs. Let's click on that real quick. Now, this is usually where I point students or parents that go, my son or daughter can't log in. They don't know their password, even though they logged into their Office 365 and Google account. They are all the same password. 2 seconds ago, they can't log in. I have those directions. LCPS Go is up there. Now, down over here, how do I learn more about Vision? There is no great Moodle document because Moodle is always updating. We're finding fixes to bugs and all that fun stuff. Now, I will still be making regular videos on Moodle or Vision, but if you want to do some homework on your own, before you email me, there's a Moodle Docs website that does give you fairly good information. And this is a hot link right here. And it will show you how to add students, upload files, use assignments to assess, discuss some forums. So this page right here will cover things in 3-4. I will be posting videos. I'm not going to be just that guy who goes, go look on the website. I'm not going to do that to you, but I wanted to give you at least some resources that you could use. If I go back to our facts page, there's also a great video playlist on Moodle Basics, and they have about 32 videos. They're all very short, all under 4 minutes it looks like, that basically show you how to do small little things within Vision or Moodle. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys that. That's up there on our facts page. And the reason why we put that up there is because not a lot of people, again, know to look for Moodle. You sit there and you type in Vision and it's like, I don't find anything, nothing can help me. I don't understand. Someone help me. This will help you for sure, okay? So we're on Moodle 3.4. I will always put the most updated version of Moodle. I will have that up on the site so you know. Generally, just so you all know, just to be transparent, I update our sandbox with the latest version of Moodle over the winter vacation. I start testing that latest version to see if we want to upgrade, and then I upgrade usually over the Memorial Day weekend. Why these strategic dates and times? Virtual Loudoun is a school that operates, I kid you not, 329 days out of the year. That gives me very small windows to really put those updates in. So I know some of you like to work over Memorial Day weekend. I get your emails. I understand. But that's a 3-week window where I get to update to the next version of Moodle and make sure that everything's up and running. So in between grilling for my 4 kiddos, I make sure that Moodle's working on that Memorial Day weekend, so we're good to go when people come back and finish the last couple days of school, all right? So that's usually how we work it. In the past, people have been like, we're not on the latest version of Moodle. We are on the latest version of Moodle. 3.5 gets released in October. So it's my job to make sure we have the latest and make sure that it works, all right? All right. Let's go back up to course categories real quick. And let's go ahead and click on where it says search courses. We're going to type in designing courses. In Vision. Sorry, Mary, typing involved. I saw that bandage finger come up. All right, when you click enter, you should see three results, okay? This is a course that I did earlier this spring on how you could use Vision as a blended course design, okay? It's okay. Had to be there. No, I'm just kidding. Designing Vision courses with Rain. We're gonna get to this a little bit later. This is the really cool stuff for those of you creating course content for professional development. It is fantastic stuff. You're really gonna enjoy it. If you know how to program an HTML script, you're really gonna enjoy it. If you don't worry, you can copy and paste. Designing courses in Vision PD, let's go ahead and click on this. I have set this course up so that it has no enrollment key. I want you to consider that for a second. No enrollment key. Some of us really love our enrollment key. The CPR course used to have an enrollment key till I lost it one day and I just got rid of it. It was actually today. I got 3 emails this morning asking what the enrollment key was for the CPR course. Of course, the hint said it starts with a C, but that's okay. I just got rid of it because, you know, it's okay. Why do we have enrollment keys? So I want you to consider that. Some of our professional development, bloodborne pathogens, for instance, I don't need an enrollment key for that. Everyone has to take it. You can't cheat because you have to watch the video and answer the questions. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a little bit. And I think you're going to get excited about it. For this, I don't need an enrollment key. I want you to come into my course. I want you to check it out. When we're talking about enrollments, I want you to consider why it is that we have an enrollment key. Is some of your stuff personal? Is it your property? Well, I want you to consider this too, and this is something I always like to tell my English teachers, my fellow English teachers, and then my English teachers when I was in TRT at Rockridge. I hate to tell you this. If you are using an LCPS device, let's take it another step. If you are signed into your LCPS Google account, if you're signed into your LCPS Office 365 account, whatever you work on doesn't belong to you. It belongs to Loudoun County Public Schools. Okay? You create something in Vision, it doesn't belong to you. Your intellectual property is something that you do on your personal Google account. or you do on your personal device not signed in to LCPS. Even Chrome, don't be signed into Chrome. You know what I'm talking about because you can see your first name up there in the upper right-hand corner. So you need to consider these things, okay? Now, I just want to educate, okay? I'm just letting people know that. A lot of people get kind of upset about that. So I just want to let you know that. With my enrollment key, again, I never send an enrollment key for my courses because half my students, when they saw me on the first day, couldn't spell my last name. I can't blame them. So I just had them type in GRZ, and boom, there it was. Click on that. It was hard enough to find that. I didn't need to give them an enrollment key. Just get in there. Good. So how do we do that? Let me show you. And if you want to, at this time, this is what I would suggest doing. Open up a new tab. And I'll model best practices here. Type in Vision. And if you have a Sandbox course, and don't worry, we're going to take a break soon. I can create one. And if you want to go into a Sandbox course and do what I am going to do, that's totally fine. And if you don't have a Sandbox course, that's okay. Just watch for now, or look on, or go into a course where you are currently an instructor. If that makes sense. All right. So this is very intuitive. Here's my beautiful course, and we're going to discuss what this theme and format is. And if you like it, great. If you like the grid format, then you can use that. But over here, no matter what, in the upper left-hand corner, you have something that says menu with 3 lines. I mean, it's very intuitive, right? It's just kind of hidden there, small font, but it's right there. Let's go ahead and click on menu. And this is where you have navigation to all of your courses, your site pages, whatever navigation allows you to have, okay? We're not interested in navigation. What we're interested in, scroll down. We're interested in administration, okay? If you are an instructor in a course, you should see administration. Everyone good? All right, this is what I want you to notice. First things first, notice unenroll me from designing courses in Vision PD, or unenroll me from the course that you're in. You should see that, okay? This is how you can unenroll yourself from all of your courses, okay? Now, you do have to go to each one of those 30 courses that you haven't used in 6 years, but you can unenroll yourself, okay? The other thing I want you to take note of is users. Let's go ahead and click on users. And we get this. We get enrolled users, enrollment methods, groups, permissions, other users. Today what I want to focus on is enrolled users and enrollment methods. Okay? First, let's click on enrollment methods. And it's automatically going to send you to this page. So click on enrollment methods. So you are not an instructor in this course. So you're going to have to go to another Sandbox, Mary. So I had everyone just kind of open a separate tab and just go to another Vision course where you're a teacher. But I'll come back. So first things first, we always have manual enrollments because we can always manually enroll whoever we want. And some of us who are very type A, beginning of the school year, we get our roster. It's the happiest day of the school year, like, yes, I have my roster. And yes, I got that kid. Oh, I hope that kid's not like their sibling. Just kidding. So you're so happy you get that roster and you go back out and you enroll your users. Guest access. If you enable guest access by turning on your eyeball, anyone can access your course. Now, let me explain what access means and explain in detail what access means. Guests can go to your course. They cannot look at forums. They cannot comment on forums. They can't take quizzes. They can't look at quizzes. They can't upload assignments. They can't view assignments. So what in the world can they do? Well, if you have posted a document there, they can get to that document. If you've posted content there on the page, they can look at that. But anything that requires them to have an actual student or teacher account through LCPS, they cannot access. So why is guest access good? Guest access is great when we want to share our vision course and show people from other divisions how we manage our class. You can do that. They just need to sign in as a guest. Parents can take a look at your vision course. They can't do anything in it, but they can see it. Well, how is that valuable? Well, if I embed my Google Calendar that has my agenda and my homework in there, which, by the way, is great because I also use my Google Classroom. You mean I can use both tools? Absolutely. Why would you only use one? Remember, I'm going to continue to try to sway you to do that. You can have those things inside your vision course, and parents can go, oh, look at that. The daily agenda is right there, and oh, look at that, the homework is right there. Go ahead.
I don't have this appropriate now. You can tell me well, not or later. So would it be possible, like via Parent Resource Services, to create a class just for parents, and they can access it
Yep. They can access
as
content.
guests?
Mhm.
So that would be a guest access.
And they can access content.
Good.
And I'm going to show you how to upload so it's just content and not just like a quiz or a form or anything like that. We're going to make it, geez, this is going to sound so bad, but I'm going to say it anyway, it's fun. Did anyone have to take a certain harassment course recently, an online one? I was talking with Dr. Alice about it because I was just so excited by it. Like, it was a fantastic course. I got so many ideas because I manage an LMS. I got so many ideas about how we could do online courses from that online course. It's like there's interactive stuff here. You have to like listen and pay attention to the video, and then you have to move things around in order to go on to the next section. Guess what? Vision can do that. It absolutely can. I was so excited. Dr. Alice is just like, you're crazy. I know, but it's so exciting. So that's the type of stuff that our parents as guests can actually do. And that's what's going to blow your mind later. And that's why I'm getting a little bit nervous, because this is just beginner stuff. Just wait. Go ahead.
See, I was going to say that, Nick, when I was doing that video, I thought, wow, this would be something great that LCPS could use, and I had no idea that Vision, I don't think the majority of our teachers
They
know that that's, that Vision is capable of that.
You're absolutely right. And this is just the beginning. I mean, I don't mean for that to come out with
Right, I
a
know what
threatening
you're saying.
tone and like thunderbolts coming down, but,
No, but-
like seriously, this is just the beginning of showing how we use our platforms. Because our average teacher, and none of you are average, but our average teacher, you go into one of our schools and you say, oh, what are you using in your class? I'm so frustrated with having so many tools, I'm using nothing.
Right.
Or I use Vision. What about Google? Too many things. Best tool for the job, folks. And we need to show how we can work smarter and not duplicate, triplicate, quadruplicate our work. But getting back to this, man, I love tangents. If you unclick the eyeball, guests can have access to your course. I love it. Megan, you can even add an enrollment key if you want by clicking on this gear, and you can tell your guests this is the enrollment key for the course. I'm mixed about enrollment keys. When we're talking about assessment, because there are PBA sites out there where data is collected, yes, an enrollment key is probably a good idea. Self-enrollment, this is what I love. There's 31 people who have gone into this course not using an enrollment key. You're all on my roster. because you went right in, you jumped right into the course. How do you do that? First of all, in your sandbox, the default is that your self-enrollment is turned off. Uncheck the eyeball like we did with the guest access. Then go to your gear. This is where you would set your enrollment key. I leave mine blank. If you want an enrollment key, put it in there. It could start with a C. CPR was the enrollment key. And a hint will actually say the beginning of the enrollment key starts with a certain letter. Okay? Now, what I'm going to work with our vendor to do is the following. I'm not sure that you'll necessarily enjoy this, but hopefully it will stop the plethora of emails and incidents that I get with regards to enrollment keys. I'm going to ask our vendor to take a look at considering this. They go to a course. There needs to be a set instructor. When they click on the enrollment key and they get the enrollment key wrong or whatever, please contact me and Lewis to gain access to this course. Because that'll help two of us, I think. Tell them like I said, hey. Now, I also like the fact that you can add a custom welcome message to anyone who enrolls in your class. Welcome to our class. It's the 2018-19 school year. Good. Holy smokes. 2018-19 school year. That's crazy. Yikes. Now, here's another thing you want to take note of. Unenroll inactive users after 365 days. Now, some of you are like, whatever. But some of you, and this was really cool, I had two teachers from Monroe here yesterday. And they now are teaching two of their courses, not for 1 year, but for 2 years. So we did some really cool things with groups and hiding modules, which was fantastic, and adding restrictions. But they need those students to stay in that course for 2 years. So we turned that off. Just click the drop down and make sure you turn that off. How do you do that? Never. So even if that student didn't pay attention the first year, the second year they all of a sudden wanted to pay attention, they weren't unenrolled. Okay? So you can set a max number of users. I think that's interesting too, but I wouldn't do that. Especially, Mickey, how many do you have now?
We're over 2,000.
2,000. I'm going to set a max in Matt Elementary, 2002. All right. So that was enrollment methods. Okay? I showed you how to unenroll. I showed you how to gain guest access, how you can change enrollment within your course. Questions? All right, I've been talking at you for far too long. Let's take 10. If you want a sandbox course because you don't have one and you want to play, let's do that, because the next couple things that we're going to go over, it's going to be heavy hitting. Heavy hitting. We're going to take a look at Google Classroom. We're going to take a look at Google Calendar. And then we're going right into Vision for the remainder of the time. All right? Okay. Let's get back here at 2:16. If you need a sandbox course, just come up here and I'll create one for you. Go. Yes. Sweet, now we're recording. Okay. All right, so my welcome page. Here's something that is kind of weird when you create a new course. You don't start with topic 1. Some of you have noticed this before. You start with topic 0. And there's always announcements at the bottom. If we copy a course, if I copy a course for you, if you're a manager and you copy a course, guess what will not go over with the rest of your course? Topic 0. It's always my recommendation that this first one is your welcome page. Okay? Just put a nice little colorful, cute little graphic with a telephone and the word welcome in there. Check. Okay? Don't do anything else. Copying courses. That's probably the third most highest email that I get. Can you copy my course? I got 6 of those yesterday. CTE teachers love it because they love to teach those new teachers. Here's how I taught business management. Here's how I taught CIS. I'm like, no problem. I can copy your courses over to another teacher. Here's what I need though, your permission. I will not copy anybody's course unless I had their permission. Okay? I will not delete anybody's course unless I have their permission. Okay? So, copying courses is very easy. I can create a course and then copy it. Now, technically, Nan and Mary, they're both instructors in 2 courses. So say they have course A, course B. They're both instructors in those courses. Nan has done a little bit of work in course A that Mary would like to have in course B. Technically, Mary can pull the stuff from course A into course B. But isn't it a lot easier just to email me and have me do it? Just do that. But you can't, okay? I can teach departments how to do that. But again, just email me, I'll take care of it. All right. Isn't this neat? Check out the Nearpod presentation. I don't work for Nearpod. You can embed Nearpod presentation right into your vision course. Very cool. You know what's even cooler? If I was a real teacher, before my students arrived in my class, I would create a Google Classroom. And let me tell you why. I would create a Google Classroom because check it out. When you create a Google Classroom, a Google Calendar gets created for you. You know what calendar I'm going to use across all 3 of my platforms? My Phoenix website, my Vision website, and my Google Classroom? I'm going to use that Google Classroom calendar. Why? Because when I put information on my Google Calendar, it will automatically update it in my Vision course, update it on Phoenix, and update in my Google Classroom. Why would I do anything else? Vision has a calendar, Nick. Yeah, it's terrible. You can't print it out. And when you get years away from it, it's impossible to find what you did years ago. I mean, it's cool that it has a calendar, but when you're using an LMS, you're not supposed to be looking at that calendar all the time. That's usually a one and done event unless you're repeating. Your Google Calendar is something that you can use across all 3 platforms. Let me show you. When we go to comparing platforms, sorry, I had to throw in my apples, oranges, and kiwis analogy. I'll let you decide which is which based on your preferences. But when you click on the Google Calendar link up here, I have embedded the Designing Courses in Vision Google Calendar. If I make a change on my Google Calendar, say I'm sitting on my couch and I'm watching something on Netflix, The Office, because let's face it, it's just magical. And I'm just watching The Office on my couch, and I update something on my Google Calendar that I want to make sure that I cover in class tomorrow under my agenda, guess what? A student who's in Vision looking at the calendar, because they're completing a homework assignment, will see that updated on the calendar. We use Google Classroom because it is a fantastic tool. It cannot do everything that Vision does. The ease of access is appealing for us with Google Classroom. That's why we use it. Absolutely. Are you kidding? On a phone. When I was at Rockridge and I met with every single student within the first 2 weeks of school, I said, take out your phone. And they're like, whoa. Like, take out your phone, man. And these are the suggested apps that we think you should have on your phone. Your Google Drive and Google Classroom. P.S. You can't use Google Classroom on your phone without Google Drive. It doesn't work because it's connected to Google Drive. And we would sit there, and guess what? I had the entire science department, a couple weeks later, they were doing their warm-ups. The kids were using their phones. I know that's secondary land for some of you who are in elementary and middle. I dig it. But in secondary world, that was huge. They did their warm-ups right there in Google Classroom on their phone. That was easy for the teacher. And she didn't have to worry about trying to book one of the 2 science laptop carts that was always taken by the 16 science teachers in the Rockridge. Now, we're going one-to-one with Chromebooks. Rockridge got rid of their laptop carts. Okay, I get it. Still can use Google Classroom with your Chromebooks, and you can still use Vision. Google Classroom is amazing. Let's take a look at Google Classroom. If you're interested in going to my Google Classroom, there's the enrollment key. Now, I'm going to really geek out on you. Bear with me. Bear with me. Do you know Alice Keeler? Oh. Get on Twitter. You got to follow Alice Keeler. She's the bomb. She created a Chrome extension called Alice Keeler's Side by Side. Wait for it. Up here, if I hover over this icon, this square where there's a green rectangle and a purple rectangle, if I click on it, it's going to split my screen. Come on, just do it. It's going to split my screen. Nope, this one. So that now I have 2 split screens right there. And I can go to, come on, my Google Classroom.
How did you get that up there on the tool?
So what I did was this.
No, I know what you did, but how did you get that split screen icon up there?
Yep. So let me maximize. Small tangent, everyone. This is recording. If you're using Chrome, up here you have your little colorful 9 squares of excellence in the left-hand corner. It says Show Apps. If you click on that, you'll get something that looks like this. I have a few icons on here that I've been playing with. If you click on your web store, this is where you can look for different extensions that you can use in Chrome, okay? Making your life a lot easier, okay? All you have to do is look up Alice Keeler, and because I already have the extension, it's not going to show up in my Chrome web store. But if you type in Alice Keeler, she has a few apps, open side by side, anyone can view, webcam record, all that stuff. You can install those Chrome extensions within your Chrome browser. Now, remember, as I said, remember when we were talking about privacy and all that fun stuff. Up here, you can see Nicholas right there. That's for Nicholas Grazita at lcps.org. I am signed in on my personal Surface to my LCPS account because I'm a workaholic. And when I go home, I work. My wife loves it. Just kidding. I'm always working. So I'm signed into my work account. If you sign into your work account at home, the same sites that are blocked here are going to be blocked when you're signed into Chrome. Please know that. But this will enable you to gather things that you want through your web store. If you do not want LCPS to block your sites, you have to sign out of Chrome. Okay? So just a small tangent. I love Alice Keeler. I love our Chrome store. See, I told you I like Google. But here's my sandbox, and I split the screen by using that, and I can take a look at my Google Classroom. Now I'm going to maximize this just for a second. I love Google Classroom. I can change the layout and make it look really cool with my Scrabble board pieces. I love that I can post a whole bunch of YouTube videos in here. I love this. The copier is down in my school. That's a hypothetical, it never happens.
Right.
I can create a worksheet. Remember that Sunday hypothetical scenario that I gave you where you wake up, you have pancakes with the family, you take your laptop out, you put it on the coffee table, you turn on Netflix, something that you're going to just listen to in the background while you do your lesson plans for hours. You know what I'm talking about. You could do that through your Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, create those activities. And then I love it because then I can make a copy for every child in the class. I love it. You know my favorite site right now? Hyperdocs.co. If you don't know what a hyperdoc is, oh my. Remember SOL review packets? Remember going to a classroom where a teacher was so stoked because they came up with the best 36-page front and back document that their students were absolutely going to freaking love? And they were the one who broke the copier, by the way, when they made the copies. But they were stoked because they were like, boom! Now you're going to be ready for the SOL test. We have a nice review packet. Consider a hyperdoc as an interactive learning experience that would substitute any SOL review packet. Let me put this link up here for you. And this is why I like Google Classroom, because check it out. I can click on this nice little plus button. I can create an announcement. I can put it into any class I want, including this one. I got a lot of Google Classroom, sorry, don't judge. If I don't want all my students to have access to it, for instance, Corey, forget it, you're not getting it. I'm just kidding. And then I can sit there and I can put HyperDocs resources for you. Then I can add a link. And I can give you the British website, hyperdocs.co. And then I can post it. And everyone in my Google Classroom now has the ability to go to hyperdocs.co. And this is a fantastic website where I can download HyperDocs, put them inside my Google Drive, manipulate them, and then say, I created a very cool HyperDoc. No, you didn't. But you can modify resources because that's what we're doing as teachers. We find resources however we can.
How do you get Google Classroom?
Type in classroom.google.com or just sign into your LCPS Google account right there under your blue button. And it's in your 9 squares of excellence. Just sign in and I'll
I don't even know, I didn't even know I had
it's your full
this.
email address at lcps.org.
And
Yeah.
then it's,
So
Your-
there is,
Organizational. And then your password, whatever you use to sign into your Lenovo.
are you, I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
had no idea. I
We
had
are
this.
recording, but that's okay.
I had no idea I had this.
Go ahead.
the reason why I'm considering switching to Vision is not only my colleagues have to use it, but
Peer pressure, I love it.
it helps to have kind of strength in numbers there. But the issue I had run into it for the most part was it's designed for people or students to submit their work on Google Classroom, which I never did. You know, as a science teacher, you know, I did labs and such, and we did pen and paper. Or homework, it was pen and paper. And I always had to constantly remind students that it says not done or missing on Google Classroom because you didn't submit it on Google Classroom.
Right.
It's just getting tiresome of reminding parents, reminding students. I'm just posting resources there.
Yep. And that was our problem with Vision, wasn't it, folks? We would put PowerPoint after link, after broken link after 5 years, all up there. We would look at a Vision course. You would sit there. Your PED sessions would be Oh my gosh, I have 100 folks that I need to present to and get them to this PowerPoint. I know, I'll email Mike Spidell and have him create a vision course. You would create that vision course, people would take a look at those resources on that one PD day, and then you would never come back to it. Duke's gonna disagree. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm not going to. I always have a problem with logging into my email on Google, because I keep on getting an admin to go talk to your administrator. So,
Let's iron that out.
so we're sorry you do not have access to email. So I just do Duke.writer. I tried dwriter, but not, it doesn't work, so I just do continue.
Yep.
And this is what I'm getting. Now, when I actually try to go to if I go to,
Let's go to google.com for me, please. Dynamite. All right, so click on that D and go ahead and sign out.
Oh, I've got to sign out of those other ones.
All right, go back to google.com. Yeah, you probably don't want to go there. Go ahead and click sign in. All right, so now, use another, use that. Type in your password. Is it the same one you use to give into your email? Boom, you're in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
All right.
now, so now I can actually log in and get email on that when I'm actually on Google.
No, we don't have
Oh,
Gmail addresses.
So I can just use the G Drive,
Yep.
or Google Drive, but not.
Google Drive, very important.
Okay.
Yep. How much space, pop question, how much space do we have in our Google Drive for Loudoun County Public Schools? That is correct. We often tell people 10 terabytes, but it's actually unlimited because we recycle accounts. Okay? You have unlimited space. Those of you who have uploaded family photos to your personal Gmail account, you understand how valuable unlimited space is because you use a 16 gig up like that. Just saying, you have a Google account with unlimited space.
So what did you do when I was getting that message? You just told me to go back to google.com.
Just kidding. I signed out of your account.
I just signed out of the other,
Yep.
that was what it was, the signing
Yep.
out, okay.
Go ahead.
You're reminding me of random things that I've thought about months ago and forget about. When I have files on Google Classroom from students, things they've submitted or things that I've viewed, it's really piling up in my Google Drive.
Yep.
And I don't need to look at it anymore.
Yep.
How do I just mass see it, get rid of it all? Control A?
So check it out. This is what he's talking about. Sorry, we're on our Google tangent, but that's okay, I think, right?
Yep.
So I'm clicking on my 9 squares of excellence. Microsoft calls it a waffle, but Google calls it 9 squares of excellence. Don't ask, I don't know. It's just a square, whatever. Click on your Google Drive. And for those of you who are not aware of this really cool fun fact before we get to the question at hand, if you right click over a folder, did you know that you can change the color of your folder? I know Nan is like, shut up. I mean, I'm type A. I had an English department chair. Sorry, Spenjamin, if you're watching this. She was all stoked about this. She was like, oh my gosh, this one, she didn't talk like that, but oh my gosh, this is red. And it was red.
That's awesome.
Now, if you create a Google Classroom with your LCPS account, guess what? This folder automatically gets created. If you haven't created a classroom, you don't have it.
How do you create a classroom?
Yeah, might as well do it.
That might be a different day,
Oh.
but maybe towards
Well,
the end.
Can you share your classroom so that we can actually?
Yeah, let's maybe towards the end, if that's okay?
Okay.
Totally. But if we click on our classroom folder, here's what gets this is what's really neat, but also frustrating. All of your Google Classrooms show up right here. I think we understand now why there's unlimited space, right? If I click on Algonquian Elementary, and I don't think I've done, oh, I did. We created some assignments in there, and then guess what? Anyone who turned in those assignments, I can see them within my Google Drive. So kind of the idea of the dog ate my homework, or the printer lost my homework, or no ink, or whatever, that's gone out the window because it's automatically inside your own Google Drive. Isn't that crazy? Technology is so wicked. By the way, those of you who doubted me hanging out with Alice Keeler, how dare you? Oh, you need to meet Alice Keeler. She's so cool. Alice, if you're watching. There she is. That was at ISTE 2017, but I saw her this past year too. All right, enough of that bragging. All right, here we go. Let's go back to vision though, okay? Because I think we should examine how it was that I embedded my Google Calendar onto my vision course. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, so let me go to here. I go right here. Now, of course, we know the very important thing in Vision is to always turn our editing button on. Okay, so go ahead and do that in your sandbox. And up here, even though it's not intuitive right here because my Google Calendar is kind of spilling over, when you do that, you now have the ability to edit right here in the upper right-hand corner in any of the modules that you're working in. Let me show that again. I turn my editing button on. If you're an instructor, you have one. You then are looking for edit right here. Let me click on edit. And then I'm going to click on edit section. Here's my Google Calendar. All right, looks pretty easy. There are a few steps, and that's why we're recording this, okay? First of all, we only see one line of icons. If we click on this button right here, it gives us a second line. Click on this, please.
I don't think I'm in the right class.
So, yep, you're good.
We're in
Click
this is
on
my class.
edit. Oops, sorry. Click on that edit.
This one?
Nope, that one. Yep. Edit section. Click cancel. Edit section. Perfect. Now we're clicking that button.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We're in your class, right? I'm getting confused with it.
No, get into a sandbox.
Oh, I was in that, but I couldn't
Yeah.
process, okay.
This is his course.
Get into your sandbox.
Administration users, that kind of thing?
So go to turn it perfect and then click on one of those, click the top editing
Oh.
button. Okay. And you're good, awesome.
And then hit edit section.
Yep, edit section.
Okay.
And then what we did was this. This button right here with the two keyboards, we clicked on that.
I forgot how to
Okay? And what that did was it gave us a second row. So for those of you who are like, I always wanted to know how to center that stupid picture right there. Ah! It's right there. Okay? Now, anyone tell me what this is right here? Any coders?
HTML.
That's your HTML script. Watch what happens to my Google Calendar when I press that button. Gobbledygook to some of you. To me, I sit there and go, oh, that's my Google Calendar. It's going to have a width of 600 and a height of 400. Yes. So how do I get that? I don't know how to code an HTML script. That's okay. Google does it for you. So let me show you. You're going to love this. If I go to my 9 squares of excellence, and remember what I told you. I would create my Google Classroom first because it creates my Google Calendar for my class. Watch this. I'm in my 9 Squares of Excellence. I go to my Google Calendar. Some of you know what a Google Calendar is because that's how you organize all your kids' sports activities during the week. And you live by your family Google Calendar. I wish my wife did. Just kidding. Oh boy, that's recorded.
Exactly.
So now I'm going down over here to my 8 bajillion Google Calendars. And I found Designing Courses in Vision. Don't worry. This is where heads exploded yesterday. This is being recorded, and I've already offered you my services one-on-one. Okay? All right? So check it out. I have found this Google Calendar, and I have 3 dots next to this. This is where Pat Herr yells at me and says, "How do you know this? You're annoying me right now, short man." I think I'm taller than you. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click on Settings and Sharing. This is why Google is phenomenal, and this is why Vision is cool too, because there's interoperability between the two. I scroll down.
Well, you gotta go back for 1 second because I have no idea.
Yep, I'm going to do it again, I promise. And check it out. The embed code is what we are looking for. It gives it to us right there. We don't need to know how to code. We just need to find the embed code. Same thing with our YouTube stuff, which I'm going to get to. Whoa, YouTube? Yes, we're going to be looking at YouTube. You have an embed code with your YouTube playlist, and you can embed that into your Vision course. Because if you want to flip something, flip it, put it inside Vision. Done. So let me walk back and do this again. I'm in Vision. My turn editing off button is turned on. I see edit. I click on edit. I edit my section. I click on this button that says show hide advanced buttons. The second line pops down. I click on the HTML script. I go to my 9 Squares of Excellence and find Google Calendar. I find the Vision calendar that I'm going to use for the remaining of the 2018-19 school year. I click on the 3 dots. I click on Settings and Sharing. I scroll down to where the embed code is. And I copy and paste that. Yes?
Mine doesn't say settings and sharing, mine just says settings.
It might not be a calendar that you own. It might be somebody else's calendar who they shared with you. Because if you can't share it, then you can't embed it.
Should mine say like, Google Classroom?
Click on that. Cool. And then go to, yeah, go to your Google Calendar right there. Yep. Okay. Yeah, so you don't own that calendar, so you can't put that one in there. But if you go to FAC teacher, for instance, click on those 3 dots. Hello.
Hi.
No, you don't own that one either. So
I own something.
you have to own the calendar. You have to have created the calendar.
Okay.
You had to have created the Google Classroom, and then the calendar would be yours. You have that, it has to say sharing.
Right, okay.
Okay? All right.
Okay, so as soon as you actually make a change in Google Calendar, it automatically updates it in.
That is 100% correct.
So how do I'm still showing the code, I don't know why.
So, great question. So let's go back to this section right here. Let me delete my iframe. Got my code. I paste my code in here, the simple Control V. Now what I want to do is click on my HTML script and make sure that the calendar appears. Click on this again, click on this again. So you have a paragraph added in there. So I don't know, your iframe got finagled a little bit. So we're gonna have to go back to cool. So we want this one. This one.
Good.
So it has to start with iframe.
Okay.
So now we go here. Toggle. There you go.
Okay.
So what I was trying to explain to Sandra is this. Iframe is very important. That in HTML code basically says I'm pulling something in that's going to be a live feed, if you would. So now, whenever my students go to my vision course to do a quiz, to read content, the other stuff that we're about to start working on, they can sit there and go, oh, that's right, that essay is due on this date because it's on our Google Calendar. So, let me go back here, go down. And let's take a look at some of the features of Vision. I thought that's why we came here. Just kidding. All right. First things first. Let's go to our sandbox. Okay? Go to your sandbox course. And at the bottom of one of your modules, and it varies from person to person. I have two boxes. It says add a resource or add an activity. You probably have a plus button that says add a resource or activity. If you have that, go ahead and click on that. And what you should see at the very top is assignment.
Is this on any one topic?
Yeah.
Any
I'm not sure
one.
which screen you're on.
Any top.
So just pick a top. Like
Pick a top. Okay? So yours looks a little bit different than mine. That's okay. An assignment is a Dropbox. I'm going to show you how cool assignment is in a little bit.
I don't
Okay?
get that.
So yours looks a little bit different than mine.
That's what I get.
Yep. So yours just looks a little bit different than mine. You have the icons attached to it. An assignment is a Dropbox. So this would be good for something like this. Students, take a picture and add it to the Dropbox. Students, write an essay, attach it to the Dropbox. And then you get to grade it. I'm going to show you that hands-on because you're going to enjoy the heck out of the Dropbox. Certificate. You are giving professional development. You want certificate. Certificate is great because it proves that someone took your course, and guess what? You, and I just want you to understand that I talked to Brenda Deal about this. If you create PD within a Vision course, you do not have to duplicate that relicensure in MLP. Do not. Okay? If someone is taking your course for relicensure, they can print out that certificate, put it inside their file, see their licensure specialist, done. You don't have to duplicate it. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Checklists. Checklists are pretty cool. Let me show you one checklist that I created. And this is pretty neat. So say you have your students working on a project-based learning project, right? Or, yeah. And you have a checklist that you want them to go through. You can create a very nice checklist. and they can check things off. Kind of nice. Thanks.
Nick, can you create that so that as they complete certain things, it automatically checks?
No.
There's not a.
Yep. Good question. Over here, external tool. I showed you all OneNote. There's a OneNote class note integration. That will be another training session that I work on with you all, because what's really fantastic is, as some of you have used OneNote before, the biggest hassle of OneNote, when you create a class notebook, you have to add all 150 of your students. That's a hassle. I've built an LTI inside Vision, so when you click on that external tool for OneNote, anyone who clicks on that is automatically enrolled inside your class OneNote notebook, and you don't have to enroll them. Next, external tool. We're building right now integration with Safari Montage. Those of you who like Safari Montage videos, you can put your Safari Montage videos inside as an external tool. Discussion board forum. That seems kind of 90s if you ask me, because I taught English in the 90s, but it's a useful tool, okay? It is useful, and some people like to do it. You ask questions, the students respond to questions, and you have a discussion board forum. It's nice. Interactive content. This is where I got excited about that harassment course. It sounds so bad when you say it. Let me show you what this looks like. Mickey has seen this before. I'm sorry, Mickey. Legitimately, does anyone like The Office? Yeah, it's good. This is just a small idea about how we can verify that people are actually watching your videos. CPR scene is the best scene in The Office by far. But instead of looking at Dwight right now, what I want you to notice is this blue button, I want you to notice this purple dot, and I want you to notice this purple dot. Watch what happens when I click on this video. I get this that pops up right away. I click on it, I get a notation. I close it.
Assessing the situation, are they breathing?
No, Rose, they are not breathing, and they have no arms or legs.
No, that's not right.
Where are they? You know what? If we come across somebody with no arms or legs, do we bother resuscitating them? I mean, what kind of quality of life do we have there?
I would want to live with no legs.
How about no arms? No arms or legs is basically how you exist right now, Kevin. You don't do anything.
Love it. All right, so who is the funniest? Dwight or Jim? Come on. You see, it's a hard decision, isn't it? It's Dwight. I'm going to check my... Oh, it's not Dwight. Oh, my goodness. Here's what I like. We have the questions built in within the video. Guess what we don't have to do, like the CPR course that we have right now? We don't have to do PowerPoint, video, quiz. I'll get to the PowerPoint in a second, after the video. We now can take the videos, whether it's a YouTube video. This is a YouTube video. We add the interactions, we add the questions, we add the notes right there. We allow them to retry, or we say, so sorry, you have to watch the video again. In order to get a grade, to watch this and then get your certificate. Oh, come on. We love that. No more clicking the refresh button to make sure that stupid check mark shows up. Drives us nuts. I'm going to retry.
This is the interactive content part, right?
Correct.
Let's get back to it, because you're losing them. Okay, too fast. Everyone, we need to pump at a pace of 100 beats per minute.
Okay, that's hard to keep track. How many is that per hour?
How's that gonna help you?
I will divide and then count to it.
Okay, well, a good...
You gotta love that. It's just like, seriously, like, how is that gonna help you? Is Jim cool? False. He is not. And I got it right. Okay? And now I can continue.
Trick is to pump to the tune of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Do you know that song?
Yes, yes, I do. I love that song. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
No, it's staying alive,
That's
staying
it.
alive.
You were in the parking lot earlier, that's how I know you.
Okay, I just like, it's the perfect scene anyway. Sorry. It could go on forever. Okay. What I wanted to show you though is that with the interactive content, we can add our own videos that we have created. I'm creating it right now on my laptop. I can upload that to my YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel because we have LCPS Google accounts. And we can put those as unlisted videos because we don't necessarily want people to watch those if they don't belong to LCPS, or try to filter those out. So we can put those playlists right up there, and we can even add quiz features to make sure that people watch our videos. How do we do that? Let's go back to our vision page, and under our activities, it's just so funny. So let's add an activity. We're going to add interactive content. Now, this is where it gets a little intimidating. Don't let your head explode, please. I beg you. It says adding a new interactive content to Sandbox. That's the section that I'm in. You can give it whatever name you want. You have to give it a name. Just test is fine. There's no red asterisk next to description. You do not have to put a description. However, if you're leading something with personalized learning or professional development, I think it would be a good idea to put your description and then check display description on course page so folks know what they're going to be watching. Okay? Now, here's where the magic takes place. Right here, we see something that says H5P, select content type. Click on the drop down. And this is fantastic. This is very much so what we've seen on other LMS systems where we had to do professional development training to get certification. We have the interactive video. That's what I just did, and I'm going to walk you through that. But we also have interactive quizzes. The kids can actually drag and drop questions. They can highlight text. Image pairing, match it up. Summary, create tasks with a list of statements. And that's what you can do with the video too. You can have a summary statement at the end of your video, which ensures that people have watched it. The accordion. So basically, it folds out and you can read different content. You have a timeline feature. We don't have time to play with all these things, but these are interactive content pieces that you have available to you when developing your courses. This is why we have a sandbox, folks. So you can play with this stuff, figure out how it works, and then we add it. When you get frustrated, you email me and say, let's do a busy search and let's work on this one-on-one. We have a collage feature. I mean, I'm pretty excited about some of this stuff, aren't you? We have true false. Course presentation, man, I still like Nearpod. I think that's good. I think some of the features of PowerPoint is good too. Google Slides. Stay with something simple, I think. Twitter user feed. If your students are old enough to have a Twitter account, could be fun. Drag and drop, image hotspots. I mean, it keeps going on and on and on.
So,
Yeah.
I only have 12. You have a whole bunch more.
Yeah, you got one more.
I click on A to Z and the popular, all of them come up.
Yep.
There's only 12.
So
Are you special?
I am special. Dude, why did you even ask that? So right up here under all content types, if you don't see 37 results or newest, first, A to Z, recently used, any of that stuff, I can make sure that you guys get all that stuff imported. This is actually more than what I saw yesterday, to be honest with you. I only saw 11 as well. So I don't know what happened. Okay? Let's go to the video real quick though. I want everyone to do this with me, please. Because this is where heads started exploding and one lady walked out. It's okay, I'm used to it. Usually it's my wife who walks out, but I'm just kidding. All right, let's click on interactive video. And what's going to happen is you're going to be shot down to the bottom of this page. And then this will eventually show up. Okay? So you're clicking on interactive video, and you should eventually get something that says interactive video editor. If you don't see it, scroll up, and it should be displaying.
Is that the same as interactive content?
Yep, so click on that, click add. Awesome, and then just write test or whatever it is for a name. And then scroll down just a scotch.
I'm getting prompted for a tour. Are we gonna exit out of the tour?
Yes, do not do the tour. Interactive. Click on that one actually. And then scroll up just a little bit. And click exit. So if you get the tour guide, just click exit. So click on interactive video. And then scroll up a little bit. Shoot you at the bottom. And click exit. Awesome. Okay. Now, this is where usually people go, forget it, I'm done. Persevere, please, because it's worth it.
I don't know.
You're good. You're right where you need to be.
Okay. I don't know how I got that.
Good job. All right. Now, this is where we're going to add a video. My box is a little bit whited out right here, but you should see it on your screen. Click on the plus button, please. This is where you would take the video that you downloaded, that you took. So right now I'm using the camera feature on Windows 10. I would use that video, I would upload it to my Vision course, okay? How much storage space do I have?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. I can also use a YouTube video, which is what I did with the Office CPR scene that we just saw right there. You will need to find your video in a separate tab. So here's what I want you to do, because I think it's important for us to do this together, because I think you're going to like this. Let's open a new tab. Let's go to YouTube. And I want you to find a small clip. Any clip you want. Keep it appropriate, people. Find a clip. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to find a clip.
Video.
Video, clip, whatever. 60 seconds. And when you're ready.
We'll accept any format.
Yep. Yep. Good question. Of course, you're Jane. I don't expect anything less than from you. Yeah. 40 seconds. The pressure is on. As you're finishing up your selection, I'll share mine. You don't have to share what you chose, but my son, my 13-year-old, is getting into playing guitar. Thank goodness, because I have some of those. I don't have to buy one. It's fantastic, and I recently taught him how to play 33 by Smashing Pumpkins. Excellent. On the guitar. So, here's what I'm going to do. I really want my students to learn about 33 by Smashing Pumpkins. I'm going to highlight the URL. I'm going to copy it. If I'm going too fast, let me know. Just say slow down, short guy. I'm going to go back to my Vision page. And it should pick up right where I left off. I'm going to paste my video right here. Okay? I'm going to paste my video right here. If you are flipping your classroom and you are adding recordings, I recommend that you create a playlist in your YouTube account. We'll get back to that in 5 minutes after we finish this. Go ahead and click on Insert once your link is attached. There are 3 steps. We just finished step 1. Let's click on step 2, please. So click on this box right here that says Add Interactions. Your video shows up. Here's what is truly excellent. I'll get back there in a second if your video didn't show up. Here's what's truly excellent. Notice this. I can fast forward through my video. And then, using these interactions that are right here, I can add text. I can add questions. I can do all sorts of fun things. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to keep this very easy. I want you to click on the true-false question, which is right here. It has a check with a slash and an X. X. Click on the true-false question.
Edit or max, exit or max, so would I just hit next? That's one of them.
Exit. Sorry.
Mine just says on that. Mine just says on
Okay. Exit out of that and find a different clip real quick, if that's okay. Someone, yeah.
Did you, you gotta
Oh,
go to.
go to
the
YouTube, yeah.
video.
Yeah, go to YouTube.
You're at the Google.
Thank you for helping. All right. Here's what I want you to do. Notice a few things. Your display time shows up. If you want your students to see this question for 10 seconds, you can do that. You can make it longer. You can ensure that it pauses the video right where it's at and then pick up right after they get done answering the question. The button, I think, is better. If you add a poster, you have to add an image to your poster. You can get fancy if you want. I think the button is a little bit easier. As you saw with my office clip, it was just a button with a label. I suggest your label be question 1 or true-false question. So let's go ahead and add a label. Is everyone okay? Coming back. I'll be right there, Megan.
I'm just not sure where.
You're good. Click interactions, add interactions. Awesome. Now click exit. Now click true false. And scroll down and put a label.
Which is what, anything?
I put down true or false question.
So I click that,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Go there. Add it right there. Insert. Scroll up a little bit. Go to add interactions. Scroll down and then click exit right there. Scroll up a little bit and then add your true false question. All right. Now I'm going to add my question. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. And again, you don't have to add anything. I'm just going to go blah, 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 blah. Here's what is important, the correct answer. But here is what's even cooler, folks. When we're talking about professional development, and I'm sorry my voice is getting high and squeaky, but I need more water, and this is really cool. Because now with the behavioral settings and the adaptivity, this is where we go. Nan, you got the wrong answer, but here's the right answer, so go ahead and fill that out. Or I go, Nan, you got the wrong answer. Got to watch the video all over again, ha ha. Or, Nan, you got the wrong answer. Do you want to try it again? Keep going through and you get full credit. It all depends on how you want your students to learn the material. If it's something like CPR, of course, I'm going to take it seriously. So guess what? Man, you got the answer wrong. Let's go back 10 seconds. I want you to watch this part again, and then you get a chance to retry the question. You can add whatever behavioral settings or adaptivity settings you want. And that is just really cool. You have the enable retry button. They can retry. You can show the solution button. It all depends on what it is that you want to do. This is the first step in making Vision useful for us, folks. I'm not going to lie. Until I saw this H5P interactive content type stuff, I was giving up on Vision. Because where else were we going to take it? It was just, thank you. It was just going to keep us adding PowerPoints, taking quizzes, adding drop boxes. It wasn't taking us anywhere. This is a huge step for us. It's huge. Now, you all actually don't have to do anything else because the defaults are already set. So, let's scroll down. And when I say scroll, you should now be looking at display options. Okay? Let's open up grade. You can give a grade to pass just like you can with assignments or a maximum grade. It's completely up to you.
I clicked save, so how do I go back and so I can edit it? So I messed up. So I've got it saved. Here it is.
So click edit right there.
Oh, that is.
Well, now you can click menu, scroll, edit settings.
Oh, it's set. Ah,
So, I'm going down. Let's take a look at restrict access. This is also key, folks. Because guess what? We can sit there and we can tell our students, you can't watch this video until you complete another activity. Or, once you complete this activity, you can move on. Or, this is what's great. Let's click on add a restriction. This is personalized learning. This is professional development. We're sequencing out how we want our learners to receive the content that we're delivering.
We don't have that one.
That's because you don't have any other activities in your sandbox. I'm sorry for that. You're absolutely correct. When you have another activity, then that button will appear. Here's what's even better. Say you are a real teacher. You're real teachers inside classrooms, right? You're running those stations that those awesome, ingenious elementary school teachers created a billion years ago, right? Here's station number 1, station number 2, station number 3. If I was a real teacher, here's how I would organize my classroom if I only had time for 3 stations. This station, I have some interactive content I need you to watch. You're gonna love this, The Office, okay? Watch the video, answer the questions. Guys, HyperDoc inside Google Classroom. You know where Google Classroom is. We sign into google.com, you go to Google Classroom, you go to Grazita's Classroom. I want you to work on the HyperDoc that I have assigned for you. Got it? And then I'm back here with you all. Hey, guys, last night, hey, get to work. You guys, we've got to diagram some sentences. You're just not understanding the predicate. That's okay. We're going to get that done. Doing predicate nominatives, don't even get me started. We're going to get this done. You should have your buds in. You're watching a video. Take your earbuds in and put them in your ears. Awesome sauce. All right. You know what I mean? If I was a real teacher, that's the way I would be playing it. It's not easy. There's a lot of work to do up front. I'm not going to lie. But it enables you to make those relations with your students. So you're still sitting in front of your TVs on Sunday. But it makes the content a little bit more interesting, and it's easier for you to manage because you're not carrying a tote bag with 80,000 binders. And you're making your students interested in what it is you're doing with your interactive content. Here's what's even better. Your students can determine their own grades in your class. You're satisfied with an 80, that's fine by me, if it's fine by you. You can set the grading standard based on what you think they deserve, or what they think they deserve in your class. Boom, there you go. I'm satisfied with an 80. That's where I'm gonna go. That's my personalized learning experience with this particular unit. It's sad, but that's the way some of them are, right? Anyone ever teach English 12 before? Oh my.
Well, if you set that kind of a grade, can you say, I disagree with you and change it?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Activity completion. Some of you have noticed the little check boxes off on the side. Your courses by default have been set to be completion tracking courses. This means that your students get credit for every single thing that they do inside your class, if they do. Okay? What does that mean? That means that it can be a standalone course. You can sit there and tell this group over here, don't stop till you get to module 3. And they're just working through module 3. This group over here, Google Classroom, your HyperDoc, it's gonna take you all class. Once I get done working with predicate nominatives over there, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna see how you guys are doing with this HyperDoc. Because we have some poetry that I want us to take a look at.
What if you don't have that activity completion?
You won't, because you don't have any activities right now. Okay. So, this is the way I would roll. Completion tracking. This is where you can indicate that a student is done based on getting a passing grade with your video. All they have to do is just view it to get completion. You set these standards however you want. You can even put a completion grade on this, like a date. My course is done by June 12th, because Inspire Loudon potentially is June 12th next year. So that's the way I want to roll. Just kidding. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save and display.
Can I ask you a question?
Totally.
Back up about in the section that was grade. So grade category not categorized.
Yep.
Because we don't want to, maybe you don't want to grade them watching this video, but.
You have to set up your grade book in order to have a category in your grade
Oh,
book.
okay. So this maximum grade of 10 is meaningless.
That's correct.
Okay.
Other than yes and no. It's a maximum grade of 10 based on whatever you get, whatever point allowance you give for the questions that you add within your video. So it is.
So if
it
it's
is
a 0 point, like if it's just
Yeah, so
to
it-
check for understanding. and
It is
not-
meaningless because you're just trying to get them to get the certificate.
Right.
Yeah. So check it out. I now have 33 on here. I have my true false question. And there it is. Pause the video. I don't even know what I was saying. The answer is true. Dynamite. And there's your points right there, Jane. So that is kind of like your 10 out of 10 thing. It paused the video. I click continue. True false question will fade away, and I can watch the rest of the Smashing Pumpkins video. Here's what's even better. I can full screen it. It's embedded within my Vision page. If the video for some reason gets restricted, guess what? It's still inside your Vision page.
If they don't answer the question, does the video pause anyway? If they just decide to roll through, it stops.
Yep.
So ours should look like yours?
Well, not that eyeball.
No, okay.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. The interactive content was a big thing. Let's take another break because we need to get up and stretch and walk around. If anyone wants any water, I have some bottled waters I can bring in here. I definitely need some because it's a little hot in here. Mickey, thanks for bringing that over. But I'll get some bottled waters for everyone if you don't mind if they're cold. Actually, does anyone want any pop? I have some pop too. It's warm though. Okay. All right, so I'll get some bottled waters. We're gonna start the big push at 3:35. And the big one is where we look at rain. And some of you are like, what? So we're gonna look at RAIN. And you all are gonna become HTML script coders. And you're gonna really dig that, all right? So let me grab some waters for everyone. I'm gonna drink that water, then I'll come back and answer questions. But let's take a break and kind of deflate, check email real quick, all right?
What time you come back?
Outlook. Now, I know you all love your webmail. Not your email in your webmail, but I know you love your webmail. You enjoy logging into your Office 365, okay? I'm going to encourage you, because you have a device, even if you're using your MacBook, Duke, I'm going to recommend that you start using your Outlook 2016. Let me show you why. Here's what I enjoy. There's Duke right there at the top of my email. I need this, okay? I need to have my folders, because I'm a type A person. I need my folders, because that's the only way that I get my email down to 17 items. I play a really sick game. My wife thinks I have issues. Well, she knows I have issues. I play a really sick game. It's 29, no. I try to get this number to 0 by the end of the day. Megan knows what I'm talking about. All right, so I either delete or I file. I need my preview right here. How many emails I have. I need my reminders to show up right here, which are really obnoxious. I need the preview of the email to show up right here. But most importantly, more than anything I care about, is being able to see my appointments right here on the side. I love this. Now, if I was a classroom teacher, I wouldn't care as much. But it would help me with my AB day. It totally would. Okay? So, this is where I really appreciate having my Outlook 2016, because notice, sorry Nan, I don't like the blue and the white. It drives me insane. I need a grayscale.
How did you switch that?
I'm going to go up here to File,
Because I like that. I can see it better.
and I'm going to go down to where it says Options. So File, Options.
Top left.
So let's go back up here, File.
Wait, file. Go back.
File's right up here.
Oh, that's in.
And then I click Options.
You're on the web, you're in the browser.
Yeah, if you're in the browser, it won't work.
Oh, no wonder, okay.
Yeah,
So you have to just, you have to
use the
actually
actual
You have to use the actual
Install.
app. Yep.
install 365.
Yep.
So that's kind of interesting, but I actually, okay.
So these are things we can discuss at the end, but I just want to make sure, again, small tool. Using your Outlook 2016 over your webmail gives you a little bit more accessibility. You can create your Skype meetings and all that fun stuff.
I see all your tip meetings in the side.
So what I do over here, at the top, I have the View button,
So file.
and under To Do,
Yep, file, options.
my calendar disappears. If I go back up here to View, go to To Do bar, click on Calendar, my appointments show up right here. Okay?
Yeah.
So, I think this is the way to go.
Just as office
I really do.
intelligence.
I think it's a fantastic tool, especially since we're now one-to-one school district with teachers and devices. I recommend checking your email this way. Mary?
How did you get your calendar then?
Sure. So if you go to View up here at the top in your ribbon,
Wait, where?
You?
View is up here in your ribbon,
Yep.
and over here on the side you have something that says To Do bar.
Okay.
And you can check your calendar, and your calendar shows up right there. And that's how I know I won't be at work tomorrow.
You don't have, do you have any tasks that you need to do?
Hey,
Put it in the
just, what, I know that I should be able to go to something and do an install, right?
Yep.
Can't
So, real
I-
quick,
just answer my question. Install Office app.
there you go.
Okay, never mind, thanks. Got it. And I just download straight from you.
That's correct.
Is it pretty monstrous?
It is,
Like
it is a
50
little bit
megabytes?
monstrous, yeah.
Okay.
So remember, we do have 5 free installs of Office 365 on personal devices for Loudoun County Public Schools.
Say that again?
5 free.
5 free Office installs for Loudoun County Public Schools, okay? When we bought Office 365 for every student and every teacher, what came with that? You were able to install Office 365 on 5 devices, iPad, PC, whatever. For instance, my wife no longer works for Loudoun County Public Schools. I bought her a small laptop a couple weeks ago. I logged into my Office 365 account and I installed one of my 5 licenses on her computer. That way she could have Microsoft Word. Okay. YouTube, real quick, and then we're gonna get to RAIN. Because we have the 9 squares of excellence in Google. If we click on our 9 squares, we see all this stuff, and for most of us, we just go, I just need Google Docs. I don't care about the rest of it. Some of us are exploring Google Classroom, good for you. Check it out. We go down here and we see YouTube. I'm going to select YouTube. I now can upload videos that I've shot in my classroom or any screenshots I've done of instruction and then put it in my YouTube channel. Let me give you for example. When I was a real teacher and I taught AP English Literature, I taught Shakespeare. Don't throw anything at me, I love Shakespeare. I taught Hamlet the last year that I taught AP English Literature, and it was great because down in Stanton at the Blackfriars Theater, if anyone's ever been to Stanton, you're missing out. It's a great small town experience. Love it.
I love it too.
Stanton is amazing.
Except when you pronounce it Staunton. Then
When you pronounce it Staunton to the locals, they get a little mad at you. Mickey, you would love the pizzeria down there. I'll talk more about it off the camera. Anyway, they have a recreation of the Globe Theater called the Blackfriars Theater. And they basically have Shakespearean actors that are phenomenal. I taught Shakespeare's longest play on the face of the planet, with all the Deus Ex Machinas at the end, where of course everyone dies in the last 5 seconds of the play. Spoiler alert, sorry. It was published in the second folio, so give me a break. So, took them down to see Hamlet. But before then, we had to practice answering AP literature prompts for the AP test, right? So, the way that I taught them how to write was me writing the prompt. And so what I had them do, I had one person put a camera on me. They chose a prompt that they came up with for homework. They gave it to me. I digested it for about 90 seconds, and then I started typing. They gave me 45 minutes, which is about how much time they would have on the AP test to respond to one of the prompts. We recorded that 45 minutes. I posted it to my YouTube channel. Their homework was watch that video, look at the decisions I made within my writing, because next class, you're responding to a Hamlet prompt that I'm going to give you. That was a flipped classroom activity, sort of, kind of, because I actually did the work while they were in class, not technically 100% flipped, but flipped in the sense that they were going to do the activity the next class. I thought that YouTube was the best channel for that. And I actually had parents watch the video, which was kind of weird, but they liked it and wrote comments saying that's really cool. But anyway, cool factor always helps. So over here, you have the little camera icon with the plus. This is where you can upload a video or you can go live. I don't suggest going live. But uploading a video is just fine. And what I'm actually going to do with this video over here that we've recorded, I am going to upload that. And what I'm going to do, I'll pop it right here. And we'll just pull a video. I'll just show you zombies. Pat her. She always makes me do weird things. I can title my zombies video something else. I can put a description in there. And I can create a playlist. This is important because with your playlist, you are able to get an embed code. Whoa, whoa, where have we embedded something before?
Vision.
Interactive content.
Totally. Now, what's even better is this. I can use that video that I flipped. I can add questions to it. I can even do this if I want to be lazy. I'm going to take my playlist. Yeah. Now, down over here, I have a playlist called Vision Training Videos. And of course, 2 of them are inappropriate. I don't know why, but anyway. I'll work on it, I promise. Down over here, I have a button that says Share. One thing to take note of, whenever you're looking for embed code on anything that you're using, tools that you're using, Nearpod, we've looked at that today, Sway, YouTube, Google Calendar, Share is where you're going to find your embed code, 9 times out of 10. So when I click on Share, I get an embed code. It will play my entire playlist for me. So watch. Again, instead of duplicating the work, here's the old way we would have done this. Create the video. Uploaded it to Vision. Found out it was too big. Throw our computer on the ground, email Nick and say, what the heck? We finally get it compressed to a decent size. We chop it up into different pieces, and we have 18 different videos that we upload to Vision because that is the only file size that it would have supported. We now don't have to do that. Here's the new way. We add it to our YouTube channel, which is not in the catalog. It's not through filters. People can't look for it, okay? Next, we get the embed code. I'm just going to copy this right here.
Where was that embed code again? Can you just do that one more time?
Sure. So Duke, it's right here under Share.
Under Share. Oh,
Yep.
I got you. Nice. Okay.
And then I'm going to share it through an embed code. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to my Vision page. Now, I could do what we just did with interactive content, but I have an entire playlist there. I want my students to be able to access those videos whenever they need them, because we're all about
Personalized learning.
totally. You have a playlist. Let's go to our Sandbox course real quick. I want you to take a look at something. So go to your Sandbox course. Make sure your Turn Editing On button is turned on. I love touchscreens.
I forget sometimes.
Now, we've looked at activities and resources, not all of them, okay? But we've not looked over here at this neat little feature that says add a block. Let's click on that. Under add a block, we have a whole barrage of options for us. Some of us have used the calendar before because that's how we did our agendas and our homework in the past. I did that when I was a real teacher.
Oh, there it is.
Let me scroll down. We have this nice little thing called HTML. Everyone find under add a block, HTML. This was my favorite thing when I was a teacher and adding my playlists. I added a new HTML block. Guess what? You can add as many HTML blocks as you want. For instance, if you have a Twitter feed, you can add a class Twitter feed in there. If you have your YouTube playlist. So now that I have this block, okay, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Now that I have this block, I'm going to click on my gear, which is right here. I'm not trying to rhyme, although I do it all the time. Sorry. And now I'm going to configure new HTML block. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Now, block title, I want it to be obvious. I want it to say something along the lines of Vision Playlist. Now, this content box looks familiar. What do I need to do to get my HTML embed code script in there?
You hit the first one.
I hit the first one, what?
The counter. There, right there.
That button. Absolutely 100% correct. And now I have my second line. What's the next button I need to hit?
The arrows.
The arrows, the HTML script button. Absolutely. And now I paste. And now I click on my HTML script button. And my YouTube channel shows up right there.
Okay, so that's gonna be a block that's gonna be on that left side.
Yep.
Can you do the same thing if you're just adding an HTML block to one of the, that activity or resource?
Yep. So I'm gonna click Save Changes. Now that looks ugly. I don't like it. The dimensions are way off. It doesn't look really cool. That's okay, watch. I'm gonna go back to my gear. And this is where I get to tell my kid, I know how to code in HTML script. Watch. Width 560. That's way too big for Vision. I'm gonna change that to like 200 and stuff. Height? No way. 125. Done. Oh, look at that. Teenager who thinks I don't know anything about technology. I just coded. I mean, seriously, at the very minimal, you can like sit there and play with the height and the width. And now check it out. That looks really nice and clean. And when people come to my Vision page, they know, hey, that's the Vision playlist that Mr. Grazito was talking about that we need to take a look at.
So when a student goes to your Vision page, is that the first thing that they're going to see, like on the left?
Yep.
They're trying to get a visual of what a student would see.
Yep. So blocks, we'll hover over on this side. Okay. All right, so I lied. There's one more thing that we need to talk about before rain. And if I didn't cover it, Mickey would be very disappointed. Now, we have several different types of formats within Vision. Let's go to your sandbox. Let's click on menu, please, and thank you. When did solicitors find our cell phone numbers? Does anyone know? Because
They just randomly computerize it.
I just want to go back in time and figure out who figured that out and just come on. All right. Let's go down to our administration tab. So again, I clicked on menu and I'm looking for administration. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. I'm going to go right here at the very top where it says Edit Settings. Are we good? Edit Settings. Now, the impressive specimen that you see before you, in Vision, is a format called One Topic. I love it. I love that one. It is my fave. Virtual Loud agrees with me because all their courses, they follow the one topic format. Now, there are certain rogue people out there in this audience who prefer a different format. They prefer something called the grid format. The grid. I'm kidding. I actually really like Mickey's course. Let me show you. Has anyone ever seen the elementary math resources Vision page? check this out. Isn't that nice?
Visually appealing.
I mean, isn't that lovely? Nikki's put a lot of time and energy into this. This is my go-to course whenever I want to show off the grid. I mean, the grid, it sounds so negative. But this is Nikki's course. She's put a lot of time into this, okay? I know Stephanie LaPala and Aaron Hornbeck, they also put in a lot of time on the RTI website as well. Or is it PBIS? Yeah. They've done a great job with that. But this is fantastic. So check it out. You have the graphics that you can put in there, nice titles, everything's automatically rendered appropriately. Now, I had to fix that bug, but it works really well now. So if I want to go to news and updates, I can access this section and it takes me right to those.
You might want to check out that first link too.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my goodness.
There's no arms and legs.
Someone might have done something during CPR training.
Afraid. I was petrified.
You taught me how to do that today, so I put that in there. And there's a quiz. So.
You honor me, Mickey. And there is a quiz. Nick's face is turning. That's true.
He's gonna need help.
Yes.
CPR.
Awesome. I do know my CPR though. So, this is, thank you. I love Nikki, she's awesome. So, this is what we call the grid format, all right? Don't think that it's that easy to create. It does take some time, okay? You have to find the images and organize your sections, okay? But you can do this, okay? This is fantastic. If you have questions about the grid, email me. But going back to our Sandbox course. So what I did, I clicked Edit Course Settings. I scrolled down until I got the course format, okay? The course format gives you a drop-down menu. If I'm going too fast, let me know. This is where you're able to select what type of format you want. It pretty much goes in order of the ones that you're going to want to choose, okay? Let's go from the worst. Weekly format. I tried that a long time ago. Before we had a set A and B calendar, it was a disaster. Because we would go like 3 snow days, and then nobody knew if we were on an A or B day calendar. So I'm a little bit jaded when it comes to the weekly format. Because I try to organize my activities, my agendas, by module, week by week by week by week. I don't suggest it. Topics format. It's actually not bad. That's what you guys have by default. You have a topics format, okay? Collapse topics. That's an accordion, if you would, okay? So when you click on the button, it goes bloop, and all your activities show up, okay? When you click on the button again, bloop. Social format. Don't do it. They tried to copy Facebook and failed, okay? It looks terrible. And it's really disjointed. If you want to try it, that's why you have a Sandbox, okay? Single activity format, this is basically, imagine you have your interactive content. You finish that, you go on to the next thing. That's pretty much all you see on your screen. It's very limited, and the kids don't like it. Because then they're like, what else is in this course? I'm a little bit nervous, okay? So, it can be okay, but if you have some kids that have anxiety because they don't see what else is within the course, I don't suggest it, okay? Opposite anxiety can't exist. I'm pretty much both. One topic format, that's the one that you've been seeing, the one that I designed, okay? Where you have the topics over here on the side. Let me bring up another course so you can see this. And I'm a little bit partial to this one because Mike Spidell was integral into bringing this before he went to go work at the Smithsonian, okay? I love it. It's organized. I have this. All of my content is right there. Click on this one, that content goes away, this new content comes here. I like it, the kids like it, especially if you have a lot of modules, okay? And then of course you just saw the grid that Mickey put together, which is fantastic, and that's the last of the formatting features that you have, okay? So when we're talking about aesthetics within our course, maybe it's the format that'll help out a little bit, okay? All right, number of sections. This is the other part that's really important, because a lot of people ask, how do I add more modules to my course, okay? You can do it right here. There's another place to do it, and I'll show you in just a second, but this is how you add more sections, okay? The default is 5. If you copy over a course, what section will not copy over?
And we may not have that right now, right? The number of sections?
Yep.
So I have hidden sections.
Yes, correct. Okay. Appearance. And everything else over here, by the way, is not relevant. You don't have to worry about it. If you want to discuss more one-on-one or play within your sandbox, you're not going to break anything, okay? But the rest of this stuff is not relevant. Let me go back up here though real quick. Appearance. Altitude is pretty much the default theme. Some of you see maybe a blue banner at the top with remote learner and an orange label. That was an old theme that just kind of carried over, okay? If you want the Loudoun County Public Schools ribbon to show up at the top, altitude is what you want. Boost is a brand new theme that came out with Moodle 3.4, which we just installed over Memorial Day weekend. If you want to try it, go for it. It takes a little bit getting used to. Things are kind of all over the place, kind of different. But a lot of people are moving towards the Boost theme. Other Moodle users are using Boost pretty heavily, okay? Completely up to you, all right? And remember, your forced language. If you're gonna force a language, make sure it's Merkin, because some of your kids are gonna sit there and say, why does enroll only have one L? You're driving me nuts, okay? So be careful with that. All right.
The upload, the maximum upload, that's not gonna change?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, that boost is really different.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, before we get to rain, one thing I'm going to suggest, I need you to consider this, because rain is taking it to the upper echelon of like levels, okay, with design, with course design. If I was a real teacher, I hopefully wouldn't use my 32-page AP English Literature syllabus that I had to get approved by College Board. But if I did, I wouldn't kill the copier making copies of that tangible syllabus out to my students. You know what I would do? I would add that as a Google Doc to my Vision course so I didn't have to print it out. Let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? Uploading files is easy. For instance, if I click on my folder Explorer right here, and I click on my folder icon right here, my File Explorer, right? If I click on Documents, I don't know what this is, but so be it. What we really enjoyed when Mike Spidell told us that Vision was allowing us to drag and drop files, we love this. We took our File Explorer, we minimized it, we grabbed our Word document or our PowerPoint, and we dropped it. Okay? Remember, your editing has to be on. And over here, I just dragged and dropped that file. We loved it. But now, guess what? That is a tangible file. That means that you can't change it and then get it back out to your students without taking it down, re-uploading the new one. Here's what makes Google Docs so awesome sauce. If I go over here to add an activity or resource, remember, you have to scroll to the bottom to see the add a resource because you might have a single page with the icons to the side, okay? If I go down and I add a URL, watch what happens. This enables me because I always had one student who pointed out my typos on my syllabus and it drove me nuts, okay? But they were right. It still drove me nuts. I worked hard on that thing. It was 34 pages. Anyway, I would give it a name.
Okay, where is that again? I'm sorry.
That's okay, let me back up. So remember, your add an activity or resource is a single plus sign. Mine are two drop downs. If you click on that plus sign and go past all the activities and click on URL, it should be at the very bottom of your list.
I switched my screen, so I don't know what I'm looking at now.
So scroll down the scotch. Oh, you don't have editing turned on. Go back up, turn editing on. Awesome. Scroll. Click
There.
add an activity or resource.
There we go.
Nick, can I
Oh,
ask
yeah.
you- It's an emergency. So I changed which one to do.
That's what I did. I
Like
switched and I'm like,
Click your
ah!
three tabs. Oh, sorry, click on that.
Oh,
And then click edit settings. Yeah.
That did the same thing.
That's why I kind of don't like boost.
No.
I know, it's like you can play, but then you're like, well, how do I do that?
All right, so here, I'm gonna click on URL. Is it not behaving? So sorry. So I'm gonna put in syllabus. And this is where I'm gonna go to my Google Docs, okay? So again, I chose a URL. I opened a new tab. I'm going to my 9 squares of excellence. I'm going to my Google Drive. Before I share a document, what do I need to make sure are set correctly? How do I make sure that all my students can see the document? Close. My share settings need to be set appropriately, right? If it's a syllabus, okay? If it's I don't know why I'm getting these weird things, but that's all right. So let's go to Ed Tech. We'll find something interesting in there. Nick Rosita Bio. That doesn't get much more interesting than that. Let's go to goals. That'll be more interesting. I'm going to right click on my Google Doc. Okay? I love Google Drive for this very reason. It's so flexible, it's so easy to maneuver. I love it. When I see get shareable link, which is what I want to put on my vision page, okay? Because I don't want to make copies. I just want them to see my syllabus. If I have to make changes to my syllabus, where do I go? My Google Drive. Where do I not go? Google Drive, then Vision. Because if I change it in Google Drive, it changes it in Vision automatically. For instance, if you're holding PD and you created a nice little schedule of events, and then the night before you go into that PD session and you've shared that link out on your Vision course, and one of those dates just happened to change because the boardroom wasn't available, guess what? You got kicked out of the boardroom. You can sit there and make the change on the Google Doc so that people know, okay? Hopefully it's not the day before you get kicked out.
If you're using PowerPoint and you store it in Google Drives, you make a change to the PowerPoint and it'll automatically change?
That's a great question. You can store Microsoft files inside your Google Drive. That you can do. But you can't change a PowerPoint, and that link, that share link, will not update that PowerPoint. How do we change that though?
Transfer to a Google Slide.
Slide.
Transfer to a Google Slide is one option. Another option, put the PowerPoint inside your Office 365. Because you can, some of you are like, no. But if
No,
you,
I just was like, well, what's that? Where's that at?
yeah. But you can, this is why I encourage folks to use, let me show you.
Instead of using PowerPoint, we should be using Google Slides.
And here's a good reason why anyway, okay? And it's nothing against Microsoft, because I like Microsoft. Watch this. Here are my goals. I don't know why you're reading my goals, but that's okay. This is a Google Doc. We know it's a Google Doc because the icon says Google Doc. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. If you click on File, and you click Download As, that looks like Microsoft Word to me. Okay? That looks like PDF document to me right there. Good practice. Best practices, go to your Google Drive, create a Google Doc, a Google Slide, and guess what? Same thing with Google Slides. You can download a Google Slide as a PowerPoint presentation. Okay? So best practices. If I want to share this file though, to go back to my vision course real quick, because some of you just, your mind just like exploded right there. But if I go back to my sharing, I've only shared this file with Michael Hendrickson, but I've shared it with you and whoever's watching this video, but that's it. Click shareable link. Now, here's what's really fantastic. Because it's my syllabus, I only want, they're not going to be able to edit it, but I do want them to view it. I want my parents to be able to view it too, okay? Because they're going to sit there and say, where's your syllabus? You got a syllabus, it's the first day of school. Fine, Mom, it's on my vision page. There you go. He didn't print out a copy because he's lazy. I'm not lazy, I just, no. Anyone with the link can view it. They can't edit it, but they can view it. So watch this. I click save. I copy the link. I go back to my vision course, now Mickey's vision course. I go back to my vision course. I supply my external URL. And my syllabus is right there. I don't have to print stuff out anymore. They can access it on their phone or their Chromebook. If I made a mistake on my syllabus, I can go back to my syllabus right before the bell rings 10 minutes from now, and I can make that change. Someone points out to me the last block of the day, I made a mistake on my syllabus. I change it before they even get onto the bus outside, done. Guess what I don't have to do? Go back to the copier. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. Let's start working smarter so we don't stress ourselves out. We can actually use that planning block, secondary folks, for high quality instruction planning. And guess what we're not bringing home? We're bringing home our computer and not that tote bag full of 80 binders that we don't want to grade anyway. Just a thought. Or posters. Don't get me started on posters. Okay. All right, let me go back to my vision course. I don't know if you're ready for this.
I say my head hurts.
Yeah. I know.
I don't know if you're ready. That's okay, because this is what I did for you. Let's go to add a block in our sandbox, please. Add a block.
Are we doing HTML?
We are. I want you to click on where it says Rain Help. R-E-I-N. Okay. sure it's right. Yes, okay, so you kind of did. Click with the link.
I got it.
Yep. And then turn off. Click done. Done.
How did I get the rain?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I thought we were on HTML.
We are, but it's called a ring. Okay.
So how do I change it back?
Click on that gear.
Go down below, which is.
Click edit settings.
It says recent activity pilot.
Edit settings. Scroll.
Oh.
Where's format? And then change it to whatever you want. All right. Let me start again. Make sure your turn editing button is on. Hey, Cindy Brady's here. Hi, Cindy Brady. Under add a block, let's click on rain help. Go ahead and click on that. Now, here's where I just want you to take a look, okay? This is what rain is going to allow us to do. Remember, I showed you the interactive content. However, I didn't show you how we can directly share content. Watch this. Oh goodness, sorry.
I went back, you were on some resources.
All right. Now, this is a separate course. We'll get back to the block with the rain. I just want you to take a look at this real quick. This is something that we're able to do within our vision courses, okay? Arrow tags. Remember I told you this is how we can deliver content. I'm gonna walk around if that's okay. Hopefully this will work. All right, pay attention. We have page 1. All right, I'm done reading page 1. I'm gonna go to step 2. I'm gonna go to step 3. Let me show you again. Page 1. Oh, first step. Step 2. Step 3. I didn't leave a module. I've added content in an interesting way for our students. It's a web page, right? It's content. It's not very exciting. Let me go to a different one. Let's go to tabs. So I have my introductory paragraph up here at the top. I click topic 2. I click topic 3. Not very interesting. Let's get to something a little bit better. Top tabs gives us the same thing with icons. We have vertical tabs. So if I want to add tab 1 content, tab 2 content, tab 3 content. Notice that I'm touching the tab buttons right here. I'm not leaving the module. I have accordion. People aren't impressed yet, that's okay. Pane 2, pane 3. We're getting a little bit more sophisticated.
I'm impressed.
Thank you, Chad. Equal columns. How many times have you just been annoyed that you had a single bloody column? Now you have 2 columns. Tooltip. I think this one's broken, but essentially you can click on the tooltip trigger and a note will pop up. Unfortunately, it's broken. I'll fix it. A modal will pop up. That's okay, that's not as impressive as the toggle switch, which allows us to toggle, toggle, toggle. Right. Now, elementary school teachers love this one. Wouldn't it be great if we could just read a book within Vision?
That's nice. That's how they do the LCPS help.
Oh, geez. That's cool for.
Up, I need to go back to page 5. Kids, take out your Chromebook. In our vision course, I need you to go down to the flipbook module. Let's turn to page 3. Let's take a look. Now we're getting impressive. Flip cards. Great for vocab. Let me go ahead and click on this card. The swing card.
Oh, that's cute.
The hinge flip card.
So is that flip book, is that HTML5? Can you just do your own in HTML5?
Yep.
So it supports like LaTeX and MathJax?
Absolutely.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Sort multiple lists.
That's very cool.
This is where we start getting into our interactive content. I just dragged and dropped across the page.
Hold, where'd you do that? Sort multiple what?
And then I can check my answers.
Oh.
Yep, that's not correct.
So each student could have a copy of this?
Yep. So each student could be dragging and dropping in their own, and then checking their answers, just for practice. Drop bubble. It's one of my faves.
That was correct.
That was. And look at that, I got the right answer. How do I know it's green? Fido is not a secure password. I know because it says it's red. I like this. We can bring up information just by clicking on one of these things. And then finally, you can make some interactive fonts appear, and that list is right here under Font Awesome. Okay? Now, Rain is really taking it to the next level. Okay? Let me show you where the CPR course is headed. Okay? This is what I'm looking at doing. So, I've got a test CPR course. And it's nothing impressive right now, but again, what I'm able to do is pull out the graphic, and I can move through these different things. Consider this. I haven't gotten too far, obviously, because getting the graphic in there was a little bit tricky because I had to scale it and all that fun stuff. But consider this. You go through, you're looking at the graphic for the cardiac arrest, and then what do we use? We use our interactive content video. They watch the video, they answer the questions, done. Okay? I didn't say it was easy, but we do have the ability within Vision to be able to start doing these things. Okay?
What does RAIN stand for?
I don't know, actually. Joe does. He pays attention to that stuff. I just programmed it. So, I know some heads are like, dude, I can't, I got nothing. I
I'm
got
ready for
nothing.
Google Classroom, actually. When are you gonna do a class for us on that?
Oh, there's the nice.
Google Classroom's not my project, actually.
Oh, it's not, okay.
I just know a little bit about it.
Do you know of anything that they're trying to do to it to improve it? Anything about it?
Yeah. I think simple is what they're banking on, to be honest with you, and I think they're right. Keeping it simple.
That's what I'm having an issue with here is, this is very convoluted in general, compared to Google Classroom.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot you can do here, but
Yep.
it's convoluted. Not because of
It
you.
takes more time.
It takes a lot of time to get there.
I didn't build it. I'm not taking offense. I just made it.
I know, you just, yeah.
I gotta clean it up. But.
There's a lot of potential there.
Yep. Yep.
Classroom barely.
All right. So
Like,
it is 4:30. It's the day before the 4th of July. Okay. I'm gonna stop here. Okay. What I'm going to do for the remainder of the time, because I'm here till 6:30 today anyway. Okay. I work flex hours. Don't feel bad for Mickey or I. We stay here till 6:30, but we don't come in on Fridays, okay? So, what I want to do is this. I've shared everything that I wanted to share with you all, for the most part.